Chapter 427. The three transformations of gods and demons had very clear requirements. The three transformations of demons required one to enter a demon form from a non-human form. All the players, green wolves, and even the hunter emperor were attracted by the performance of the person in the three-death formation. His skin was cracking bit by bit. The dark green light in his eyes could no longer be restrained by the human skin and crazily overflowed. Oh my God, what happened to Brother Nameless? This is demon transformation? No, it's definitely not. I'm too familiar with the process of demon transformation. This is definitely not demon transformation. Although demon transformation was still demon transformation, the degree of change wasn't too big. At least after the transformation, they could still see that it was Brother Nameless. But this time it was obviously not that simple. Finally, like a cicada breaking out of its cocoon, the man's clothes and skin all exploded. A terrifying demon gradually stretched its majestic body. Its face was ferocious, and its eyes were burning with green flames. Its muscular and well-proportioned body was 3 to 4 meters tall, and its green skin was covered with curses, as if it was a cursed creature. The two thick demon horns on its head bent backward, and the pair of wings on its back opened uncontrollably due to the surge of power. Seeing this demon, the players on Earth were extremely shocked. Although the players on Earth were relatively quiet, there was no doubt that everyone's hearts were exploding. It's him? No, impossible. How is this possible? Oh my God, why is it like this? I'm a bit confused. In other words, he is him? Oh my God, he is him. Damn, my world is collapsing. The two great legends of Jyotian actually overlapped. How is it possible that God of War and Mad Demon? Countless people's minds short-circuited. All kinds of scenes in the past that shouldn't have overlapped were forcefully superimposed on one person at this moment. The first mysterious person in Jyotian to pass through the poison fog forest and sell equipment in large quantities. The God of War who fought against the attacks of multiple countries by himself. The only player who had a personal dungeon. The demon who massacred cities many times. The mysterious leader who formed the strongest guild at the moment. The super expert who single-handedly killed the Sky Domain boss. And the guardian of Earth Village. Cold and ruthless? Approachable? Global enemy? Human guardian? God of War? Mad Demon? With manners, Joer's eyes widened and her red lips parted. She wanted to say something, but didn't know where to begin. Is this the true form of that madman? Why is he in his demon form? This was impossible. It has never appeared in any of the family's records. Louis was more shocked than anyone else. Brother. There were tears in her eyes. Brother. She still remembered that insufferably arrogant and unapproachable mad demon. He had taken great care of Quanglong, especially her. He had said that Nameless had asked him to do so. But in fact, she remembered that when they were young, the brother and sister would share a steamed bun, and her brother would tell her with a smile, I'll make sure you're full in the future. Not only will you be full, but I'll also make you fat. Brother, I don't want to be fat. What's wrong with being a little fatter? Brother, I heard people say today that people change. Will you always love me in the future? Silly girl. No matter what your brother becomes, the person he loves the most will always be you. Brother, there's never been a mad demon with you to level up. You've always been alone in Jyotian. There's never been anyone with you to face your enemy's attacks. You carried everyone's hopes alone. I should have known it was you. I should have thought of it. I'm sorry, brother, ye should have thought of it. Lung Nua suddenly felt a little dazed. In that cameo, Big Boss had played the role of the Demon Lord. That cold and gentle character had perfectly overlapped with the person in front of her at this moment. If I wasn't the Demon Lord, would you love me? Did he hate his demon identity? So he had the nameless identity? Li Muhua didn't expect that the secret that Lu Chun had kept for a year would finally be revealed in front of everyone at this moment. In order to protect the players on Earth, in order to protect the people he wanted to protect, he would do anything. Chun. However, there should be a lot of people who had opinions about the mad demon. Wouldn't it be inappropriate to reveal his identity at this time? Suddenly, someone in the crowd shouted, Mad God, let's have a fight. I don't care what the mad demon did in the past. At that time, everyone thought this was a game. What's the big deal about killing people and massacring people? Who hasn't done it before? Everyone in level 1 is working hard to become stronger. Why do you want the mad god to do things that you can't do yourself? Ever since we came to level 2, both the mad demon and the nameless have fought for us. Now the mad god is fighting a powerful level 3 elite. What reason do we have to blame him? Mad demon and the god of war. As long as you're fighting for Earth, I'm willing to worship you as the mad god. Yes, today, no matter who wins or loses, it's the battle of the mad god. The real mad god. I'm willing to worship you as the mad god. That's right. You can say that I'm a bootlicker or that I'm cheap, but I'm convinced by this person. The mad god is the pride of us Earth players. You have thousands of troops and thousands of elite fighters, but I have the mad god. The mad god can beat me 1,000,000 times, but I treat the mad god like my first love. The person next to her was speechless. Sister, although what you said is true, but isn't it a bit inappropriate to say this now? To be honest, I've always liked the mad demon more. Back then, I voted for him as the most handsome man on Earth. I really like his chest muscles. Wow, that feeling of Beauty and the Beast. No, this is definitely an upgraded version of Beauty and the Demon. It's super exciting just thinking about it. The young man almost vomited blood. We're all big sisters like this. Mad God, break that bastard's bullshit 3-death formation. Mad God, kill Green Dog. Li Muhua looked at the excited players in surprise. He didn't expect that these players didn't care about the Mad Demon's previous massacre. Supporting the Mad God had become the mainstream. Their only worry was now gone. The War of the Gods. Very good, Chen, go all out and fight. No matter what the result is. Jior looked behind her in surprise. Was this the Earthling? Ba Men frowned. That guy has cheated a lot of people in level 1. Is that why he's been hiding his other identity? But why is he no longer hiding it now? Why is he doing this? Ba Men turned to look at Sister Jior. Jior was a little embarrassed. Indeed, that guy had released this power right before she was about to be killed. Was he doing this for her? Maybe not. Maybe he was doing this for his own people. But at least Jior's heart was stirred. The War of the Gods. With the difficulty of this battle, it was indeed qualified to be called the War of the Gods. But could he break the 3-death formation? At this moment there was a loud bang. Inside the 3-death formation, the surrounding space shattered like glass. There was a terrifying roar. A demon had broken free from its shackles. Chapter 428. 3-death formation break. Demonic change. All types of damage dealt by oneself and demonic pets will be increased by 300%. All attacks will be converted into dark-type attacks 100%. The ratio is controllable. At the same time, it will be punished by the heavens, and 5% of its maximum health will be taken every second. When Lu Chen completed the demonic change, the sky was instantly filled with dark clouds, lightning, and thunder. The wind raged, making it hard for people to stand still. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck his body. Lu Chen's health bar, which was already not much, dropped by a large chunk. Punishment from the heavens. It was as if this creature was not recognized by the heavens and earth, and had triggered a heavenly anomaly. Green Wolf's eyes were wide open. Even he had never seen such a horrifying skill. Punishment from the heavens? What kind of skill was this? However, Green Wolf was indeed an experienced fighter. He quickly calmed himself down. Judging from the Mad God's health, Lu Chen would die after 2 more heavenly punishments. He had less than 2 seconds. No matter what skill the other party used, it was impossible to kill him in 2 seconds. Green Wolf was absolutely confident. You can't even live anymore, and you still want to be a hero and protect those useless people? The demon cracked a maniacal smile. Protect them? They don't deserve it. I just want to kill you. The group of Earth players was dumbfounded. What? The Mad God said we don't deserve it. What does that mean? Can't you tell what he means? He already thinks we're a burden to him. We supported him so much before. It turns out that in his eyes we're just trash. Could it be that his consciousness was affected after he turned into a demon? Don't defend that guy. I think he's just looking down on us. Louis frowned. This was definitely not her brother's style. He wouldn't say something like that. Then what did he mean? Jior was puzzled. This guy was obviously here to protect the Earth players. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come at all. But why did his temperament suddenly change? To say such heartless words to a group of people who supported him. It was very hurtful. On the battlefield, Lu Chen didn't care about what these people thought. He didn't have much time. Ghostly shadows, 100 ghosts parade. In an instant, over 100 identical demons appeared on the field. These demons moved rapidly in the field, their figures blurred. The most important thing was that at this time, it was impossible to distinguish which one was the real Lu Chen. This is illusory displacement. Green Wolf's eyes widened. His 3 purity sword arts did have an area of effect, but in the face of so many illusions, he didn't dare to attack rashly. If he made a wrong judgment and allowed that guy's real body to get close, he would be in danger. One had to know that this guy was the one who broke through the 3 extinction formation. His physical attack was over 810,000. Even Green Wolf wouldn't dare to let that guy get close. The only way was to use the shield of 10,000 swords to temporarily defend. As long as he could hold on for 2 seconds, he would win. Sanqing Sword Art Myriad Sword Shield. One shield of 10,000 swords might not be enough. Sanqing Sword Art Sanqing Protection. Behind the Azure Wolf, 3 afterimages of immortals appeared. With 4 layers of defense, they could last for 2 seconds. Suddenly, a figure appeared behind Green Wolf and was about to attack. This figure was extremely fast, and its figure was blurry, making it difficult to detect. However, Green Wolf wasn't surprised. Instead, he was delighted. The strength of the phantoms lay in their illusions. Previously, when he couldn't identify Mad God's real body, he was still worried. However, now that he had discovered Mad God's attack, he could win as long as he avoided it. Are you the only one who knows displacement? Start treading 9 palaces. In an instant, Green Wolf's figure suddenly disappeared and reappeared far away from Mad God. Trash, you've already lost. Is that so? A hoarse voice suddenly sounded in his ears. You're already dead. A ghostly figure suddenly appeared in front of Green Wolf. Dragon Blood Boil. Tiger descends the mountain. Green Wolf's nerves jumped. That guy actually had the patience to play tricks with him in the last 2 seconds. How calm could this guy be? No, he still had 4 layers of defense and 5,600,000 HP. He only had 1 second left. There was no way he could kill him. Tiger Descends the Mountain directly hit him with a 10-hit combo and 30 hits. The poison attack was ineffective against the 10,000 sword shield, but the 10-hit combo hit the spinning sword formation. At this time, Lu Chen's HP was less than 1%. Under the passive frenzy state, his attack speed, movement speed, and attack power increased by 396%, and his skill cooldown decreased by 99%. What was even more terrifying was that he had activated Dragon Blood Boil. After 80% of his HP was deducted from 1%, he had 0.2% HP left, which was only a few 100,000 HP. At a glance, his HP bar was already empty. However, what he got in return was a crazy state that bordered on insanity. His attack speed was already hard to catch with the naked eye. 1 hit, and the 10,000 sword shield shattered. 1 hit, and the Shangqing protection collapsed. 1 hit, and the Shangqing protection collapsed. 1 hit, and the Shangqing protection collapsed. In the blink of an eye, Green Wolf was about to face that crazy, sinister smile. Green Dog, you've been waiting for a long time. It's your turn. The demon's sharp claws instantly cut through Green Wolf's luxurious clothes. In an instant, dozens of normal attacks caused a large number of damage values to float above his head. However, no one would have thought that this demon, who could break through 4 layers of defense, would cause surprisingly low damage when his attacks landed on Green Wolf's body. Minus 17,000, minus 18,000, minus 17,000. It's impossible for the damage to be so low. 8 Gates frowned. However, he quickly thought of a possibility and immediately broke out in cold sweat. No, he didn't use his full strength. This was probably the only explanation. This guy, his HP is already so low, and he dares to not use his full strength? He's really crazy. He's completely crazy. Green Wolf deliberately used small damage to kill Big Brother and that Earth player. He did it on purpose. Wanner frowned. That guy is punishing Green Wolf. Lu Chen adjusted his attack to around 800,000 DPS, which was just enough to allow him to sustain the effects of heavenly punishment. With rapid attacks, he could split the 800,000 DPS into dozens of attacks, or even dozens of attacks. With every attack, he was tearing Green Wolf's body apart. Blood splattered everywhere, and his body became blurry. The negative statuses on him had already made it impossible for him to do anything. Stun, silence, speed reduction, and spiritual energy storage rapidly decreased. At this moment, Green Wolf's brutal Demon King effect had become the most terrifying negative statuses on him. Ah, you lunatic, stop right now. Stop? That was absolutely impossible. Even heavenly punishment could not stop him. The current Lu Chen had already performed madness to the extreme. Ah, I'm going to tear you apart. Ah. Green Wolf screamed and looked at the lunatic in front of him in horror. Even if he had survived in the cruel environment of the third heaven for such a long time, he could not help but feel fear and despair. It turned out that from looking down on everyone to being scared witless, it was only a matter of an instant. Please let me go. I won't dare to do it again. A crazy and bloodthirsty face instantly came close to Green Wolf's terrified face. He licked his lips and smiled. Sorry, I don't accept begging. Chapter 429. He ignored Green Wolf's cries and pleas as he killed and tore him apart. Blood splattered everywhere. The demon seemed to want to empty out Green Wolf's body. A level 3 powerhouse begged in front of him, but he couldn't win his forgiveness. 6 million HP, under the rapid attack was nothing. Seeing that Green Wolf's HP was almost empty, Lu Chen snorted and raised the reverse water scale sword. Black Dragon Soul Seal. The reverse water scale sword instantly turned into a black tiger dragon and directly pierced through Green Wolf's body, nailing him to the ground. Black Dragon Soul Seal. After being hit by the Soul Seal, the player will not be able to revive for 3 days. After reviving, the player will only have 1 HP left. You're so cruel. Green Wolf died after saying his last sentence. Devil Transformation didn't show the skill's duration, but Lu Chen had lost his target and quickly dispelled the Devil Transformation state. The bloodthirsty state disappeared, the heaven's punishment gradually disappeared, and the dark clouds gradually dispersed. A demon held the reverse water sword with his back facing everyone, nailing a strong enemy under his sword. After the battle, a gentle breeze blew past, and the grass rippled like waves. The fragrance of the grass was mixed with the faint smell of blood. In the azure sky, white clouds brushed past. The sky was high and the clouds were far away. In the distance, the 3 demon beasts of the Hunter Emperor had already been defeated. Their bodies still had traces of being gnawed by Little Fur Ball. The Hunter Emperor was still bitterly holding on, but he only had a pitiful amount of HP left. Now that he saw his master's tragic death, his heart was probably dead. He had already given up resisting and stood there in a daze. You 4 come back. Lu Chen's voice was very low, very calm and very tired. He didn't kill the Hunter Emperor. Behind him, there were countless of his compatriots, his friends, his family, but he didn't turn back. He just stood there, slightly raised his head, looking at the sky and breathing in the fresh air. The wind gently caressed his pores. The 9 heavens domain was as real as ever. In the end, he still came to this step, and used the method he hated the most to let everyone know everything. There was no cheering behind him. It was so quiet that it was scary. He must have scared them. Whatever, he would eventually go far away. He could not take care of these people forever. And as the people he met grew stronger, these people would also suffer because of him. In the end, they still had to rely on themselves. It was time for him to let go of this responsibility. Those fellows should not disappoint him. Since that was the case, he might as well do it more thoroughly. Boss, are you alright? A voice came from behind him. It was kneeling every 10 steps. The first person to call him nameless. He had long become Lu Chen's trusted friend. Lu Chen slowly turned around. The green mist in his eyes left 2 afterimages just like his tears. Pulling out the reverse water scale rune sword, Lu Chen slowly raised his sword. He grinned arrogantly. Of course I'm fine. It's good that you're fine. Boss, thank you for protecting us again. Protect you? Lu Chen sneered. I've already said that you don't deserve it. I only want to defeat stronger opponents. You're too weak. It's my shame to be the same as you. I think Green Dog is right. You don't have to continue living in the Jiutian. It's too easy for you. This won't do. I have to let you know what you are. Tiger's roar. Great Ravager sweep. Without warning, Lu Chen directly swung out dozens of sword auras. Even without the god transformation, Lu Chen's fury status was still there. His attacks were already terrifying. Wherever the sword auras passed, corpses were everywhere. Under 30 sword auras, countless Earth players were killed instantly. Is this guy really crazy? Why is he like this? Has he really gone mad? Damn it, to think that I supported him just now. He's a bastard. I've already said that this guy is not a good person. He's not worthy of our trust. When Louis saw this scene, she was dumbfounded. Was this her brother? No, definitely not. As the saying goes, the person involved is confused, but the onlooker sees more clearly. Jiao frowned and did not say anything. In the blink of an eye, millions of Earth players were killed. The Earth players' army was in chaos. Lu Chen finally stopped. He summoned the 9-winged dragon, jumped on it, and flew into the distance. Jiao saw this and seemed to have made up her mind. She gritted her teeth and chased after him. After Lu Chen left, Hunter Emperor's legs turned to jelly. He knelt on the ground and repeated in a daze. He's a demon, a demon, a demon. Jiao chased after the dragon in the sky. Soon she could not catch up. Fortunately, the 9-winged dragon seemed to have landed on a mountain peak. Damn it, where did this guy get this mount? Why can't I use my mount when he's using it? Jiao was so angry that she gritted her teeth. However, she did not stop. The 9-winged dragon had landed. She could finally use her mount. Elite guard, bring me to that mountain peak. In front of the cliff at the mountain peak, a demon was sitting by the cliff in a daze. He did not seem to be in a good mood. Lu Chen saw a big bird circling around for a while before flying toward him. He frowned slightly and was about to leave. Hey, don't go. Lu Chen took a closer look. There was a person standing behind the big red bird. It was Jiao from the Wood Mansion. Jiao quickly arrived at the mountain peak. She kept her elite guard and landed not far from Lu Chen. It was the first time seeing this terrifying demon so close. Jiao was very nervous. She stood there and did not dare to come closer. Lu Chen could not help but laugh. This girl was still so timid. He still remembered how she gave him 3 or 4 victories in the ancient battlefield. That, are you really nameless? Jiao was very nervous. Lu Chen really wanted to scare her. However, considering that the people from the Wood Mansion had helped the Earth players when he was not around, he did not want to scare this coward. Didn't you see me transform? After hearing an affirmative answer, Jiao was slightly relieved. I know why you want to kill your own people. Lu Chen frowned slightly. Why? You purposely left the Hunter Emperor alive and let him see you turn against your compatriots in front of him. After this news spreads, your enemies won't come looking for trouble with Earth's players anymore. Lu Chen looked at Jiao in surprise. Others did not see it, but she saw it first. Also, she was the one who reminded him of the way to break the 3-death formation. This woman, other than being afraid of ghosts, was actually quite smart. Actually, what you did was right. Jiao finally gathered her courage and walked over. Earth is a technological world. There is no martial power. A world without any foundation is too weak in the Jiutian world. The best way to protect them is to draw a clear line with them. Jiao looked at Lu Chen's eyes. She wanted to see that familiar look in Lu Chen's eyes. However, she could only see 2 balls of green flames. However, you also left them with the greatest opportunity. Lu Chen frowned slightly. When I left, the Hunter Emperor was scared out of his wits. He definitely did not dare to stay in the Earth Village for long. Furthermore, the Black Dragon Soul Seal prevented Green Wolf from reviving for 3 days. The Hunter Emperor definitely did not dare to wait for his master to revive. After Green Wolf was resurrected, he only had 1 HP. That is to say, the players on Earth could kill him without limit. Any equipment that he dropped would be a treasure even in the second heaven. But you didn't take any of them and left them all to your compatriots. The reason why you did that, I guess, is because you are about to leave the second heaven. Because you can no longer protect them. You did not hesitate to be misunderstood. Am I right? Lu Chen was shocked. This woman's IQ was a little scary. Chapter 430. Lu Chen's silence was a tacit agreement. He didn't expect that the person who understood him the most was Jiu of the Wood Manor, whom he had only met a few times. Lu Chen turned his head and looked in the direction of Earth Village. The reason why he wasn't so lucky was because he could see his companions here. Jiu gathered her courage and sat beside Lu Chen. Is your planet beautiful? Jiu smiled. Che, everyone says their planet is beautiful. It's true, it's especially beautiful. At least in the galaxy I know, there isn't a planet that's as beautiful as yours. It's a blue planet, just like a sapphire. Blue? Jiu frowned slightly. It's indeed rare. If there's a chance, I'll go to your home to take a look. Can you go to my planet? Yes, but it can only be done in a higher heaven. Then can you go? I'm a little doubtful. Jiu realized that Lu Chen was saying that her strength was too weak. She immediately frowned and glared at Lu Chen. I'm so arrogant with just this bit of strength. Let me tell you, wait for me to fuse. In any case, I'll definitely catch up to you in the future. Alright, you said it. I hope you won't make me wait too long. Of course. How can you look down on the people of the Wood Manor? Jiu's unconvinced expression was especially cute. So your ideas? Solipsistic. Lu Chen revealed his golden ID. Showing off again. Lu Chen shook his head helplessly. It's golden. What can I do about it? Alright. But your ID is a little similar to your personality. Is it? I'm actually very low-key. It's just that my opponents seem to like to be high-profile, which gives me a headache. With this girl, Lu Chen could casually talk to her about a lot of thoughts that he wouldn't talk to others about. Lu Chen didn't know what this feeling was, but he was willing to tell Jiu so much. Right, the person who blocked the sword for you is? It's my big brother. Jiu rushed to answer. Lu Chen nodded. Thank him for me. Jiu's face immediately turned red. Her big brother had blocked the sword for her, so why should she thank him? Thank you for your help. If it weren't for you, Green Dog would have killed a lot of Earth players. He had tripled the pain threshold. Many people wouldn't be able to take it. There are also many women and children in there. Lu Chen was still a little angry when he mentioned this. He had indeed killed countless Earth players, but they were all normal kills. He didn't activate the sense of pain, and he couldn't activate the Jiao Dragon's soul seal. He just needed to go back and revive. It was completely different from Green Wolf's torture. What's there to thank me for? Speaking of which, it was Big Brother who said that you might have been beaten back to the first layer of heaven. So it was you guys who spread the rumors. Then we didn't do it on purpose. The Immortal Trail Forest was almost destroyed. Even 10 of us wouldn't be able to survive. Who knew that you would be so powerful? Jiu said without any confidence. Lu Chen was both angry and amused. Alright, he couldn't afford to be angry with them. Mad God. When are you going to the third layer of heaven? I still need some time. I'm going to open the purgatory difficulty. You're going to open the purgatory difficulty. You're trying to kill us. Lu Chen frowned slightly. Suffer a little now, and you'll be stronger in the future. Don't you people from the Wood residents know a lot? How come you don't know this? We came out to train, but because of my body. Anyway, my family didn't want anything to happen to me. So we found a less difficult area to train in. In the end, you raised the easy difficulty area to the top. Did I offend you in some way? Lu Chen smiled. This can only mean that you're unlucky to always meet me. We've only met a few times. It's more than you think, Lu Chen said mysteriously. Before this woman knew about the ancient battlefield, they had already met. Beside the cliff, a timid Wood resident's Jiu was leaning against a terrifying demon. The two of them were casually chatting about boring topics, but they didn't feel bored. Neither of them was willing to leave first. In the end, it was Jiu who left first. Xiao Tian had revived, so she had to go back and take a look. I'll leave first. Oh right, Wait for me to leave before riding your 9-winged celestial dragon. Don't worry. The 9-winged celestial dragon's area of influence isn't that big. There's one more thing. Jiao summoned her elite guards, but looked at Lu Chen hesitantly. When we cross the bridge of helplessness, forget it, I'll leave first. Lu Chen was also depressed. Why did she leave halfway through her sentence? After watching Jiao leave, Lu Chen stood up. He didn't know how the players on Earth would look at him in the future, but he didn't care. Especially after seeing Green Wolf's strength. Lu Chen couldn't wait to go to the third heaven, to see what kind of place it was. Remnant Life had told him that the third heaven was definitely not what he imagined it to be. The third heaven might have a lot of variables, but at least the people there were definitely strong enough. Level up, find the people in the mountains, kill spiritual martial apothecary, and then go to the third heaven. Lu Chen thought for a while, then changed back into his human skin. After all, the demon form was too eye-catching. 9-winged, let's go to the bridge of helplessness. Lu Chen summoned 9-winged celestial dragon, and the 9-winged celestial dragon spread its wings and soared into the sky, heading straight for the bridge of helplessness. Standing at the fork in the road, Lu Chen checked the map again. He had already explored the arena and Azura field on the east and west sides, as well as the map behind it. There was only one path left, and that was to go all the way north. Going north along the main road led to the Bridge of Helplessness, and further north was the Monster Mountains, the Fallen Immortal Plains, and the Level 80 main city, which was currently labeled as Ownerless Land. When he defeated the Immortal Slaughtering Poisoner gave Lu Chen the coordinates of the people in the mountains. The location of the people in the mountains was the Fallen Immortal Plains. Since the journey was boring, Lu Chen summoned Rhubarb to accompany him on this journey. After walking north for 7 or 8 minutes, Lu Chen saw a wide river in the distance. He could barely see the other side of the river. There was also something special about this river. The river water was black, and there was a faint black mist rising from the river surface. Damn, what kind of river is this? Lu Chen looked as far as he could. There was a bridge at the end of the main road, and it must be the so-called Bridge of Helplessness. Rhubarb, follow me. I feel that this Bridge of Helplessness is not an ordinary bridge. Lu Chen perked up a little. An antique wooden bridge appeared in front of Lu Chen. Most of the bridge was hidden in the black mist, and only a small section of the wooden structure could be seen. There seemed to be a figure sitting on the bridge. It was unknown whether it was a player or an NPC. This bridge can cross such a wide river? It's a bit capricious. Speaking of which, could that person be Mengpa? I don't need to drink Mengpo's soup. Lu Chen couldn't help but think of some legends of Wuxia. In front of the wooden bridge, there was a stone tablet as usual. Forget this life in front of the Bridge of Helplessness. It's hard to meet after the Bridge of Helplessness. Lu Chen blinked his eyes. He didn't know what this sentence meant. He complained and stepped onto the Bridge of Helplessness. Seeing that someone was approaching, the person in the black fog finally stood up. This was an old woman who didn't look like a human at all. Her face was so bloated that it was almost scary. When she smiled, there was no sense of kindness or kindness. Instead, it made people's hair stand on end. Young man, if you want to cross the Bridge of Helplessness, you have to pay the toll. The old woman smiled strangely. Chapter 431. Toll fee. Lu Chen looked at the old woman in surprise. You're not really Mengpa, are you? Don't tell me you want me to drink Mengpo's soup? I'm not dead yet, and this isn't the underworld. The old woman maintained her unrefined smile. That's just a legend in your little world. It's very different from the real Jiutian. I'm not Mengpa. I'm just collecting toll fees. How much? A memory of the person you love the most, the old woman said with a smile. Just one. That's a fair price, isn't it? Fuck fair my ass. As expected. Then I won't take your Naraka bridge. I'll just fly over. Young man, do you know what's in the river of forgetfulness? Lu Chen looked at the river water under the bridge. It was pitch black. But now that he was on the river, he could see more clearly. Only then did he realize that the river water was not black, but red. The color of blood after being exposed to oxidation for a long time. It's blood? In the past, All the players who died would have a part of their soul extracted and trapped here. Don't look at me in surprise. There's a price to pay for death. It's the same everywhere. Of course, in the first and second heavens, the loss of soul energy after death can be replenished by the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. This is also why players lose experience after death. Jiutian uses the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to help nourish their damaged souls. Lu Chen was extremely shocked. An NPC on the Naraka bridge had once again overturned his understanding of Jiutian. When Jiutian was first released, other games required experience to level up, but Jiutian set it to require spiritual energy of heaven and earth. At that time, people thought that it was a setting change made by Tianxing to be more in line with Xinxia-themed online games. But now, Lu Chen understood that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth had such a terrifying effect. At that moment, Lu Chen even felt that Nine Heavens realm was a little scary. The old woman continued to speak with a smile. So many worlds, so many people. How many times have they died? You should understand this point. And the river of forgetfulness can be said to be the place with the most abundant heaven and earth spiritual qi in the second layer of heaven. In the sky above areas where spiritual energy is abundant, the flow of spiritual energy is fierce. Some places can fly at low altitudes, but the river of forgetfulness can't, because it not only condenses spiritual energy, but also resentment. Every player's negative emotions when they die will be collected and accumulated. The layer of fog on the surface of the river of forgetfulness is formed from negative emotions. Believe the old woman's words. If you don't want to die, then don't try to fly over the Wangchuan River. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes and hesitated. At this time, a large group of several dozen people came up to the Bridge of Helplessness. Seeing that Lu Chen hadn't made a decision, the old woman went to greet the group of people. Among the group of people, a middle-aged man seemed to be their leader. His ID was Big Brother Dai Tu. He glanced at Lu Chen and was slightly puzzled. Why was there a guy here who was alone? Hey friend, why did you come to the Bridge of Helplessness alone? Big Brother Dai Tu ignored the old woman and walked toward Lu Chen. The second heaven was very different from the first heaven. The more people in the first heaven, the stronger they were. But in the second heaven, when you saw a group of people in the wild, the fewer people there were, the stronger they were. Only when they were strong enough could they travel in the wild in a small group. Big Brother Dai Tu had at least 70 to 80 people on his side. He estimated that there were two groups, and their strength was considered average in the second heaven. However, Lu Chen never cared about other people's strength. When people talked to him enthusiastically, he never put on airs. Oh, I came here first. Are you guys going to cross the Bridge of Helplessness? Yes. Hey friend, how many people are in your group? This sentence was obviously probing Lu Chen's strength. 30 to 40. Oh, then their strength is about the same as ours. Are you guys interested in joining us? After crossing the Bridge of Helplessness, the difficulty there is very high. I was originally in a group of 40. Later, a friend of mine joined another group, so we all joined together. We can take care of each other. Big Brother Dai Tu was surprisingly straightforward. You also know that for people like us, it is more difficult to survive in the second heaven. It is much better to have someone to take care of each other. Lu Chen nodded. Yes, but we. Big Brother Dai Tu saw that Lu Chen was unwilling and immediately took the initiative to say, It's okay, it's okay. Hey, I was just mentioning, the key to forming a group is mutual trust. It is indeed not something that can be casually formed. Lu Chen had a good impression of Big Brother Dai Tu. This person was quite straightforward. Oh right, Big Brother. How do you plan to pay for the Bridge of Helplessness? She wants a memory of the person she loves the most. This is a bit exaggerated. What else can we do? If we don't pay, we can't cross. We can only pay. Then will I really forget about it after giving it to you? I mean, will we forget those memories in real life? Of course. At the current stage, Jiutian is connected to the game through the consciousness of the brain. Aren't memories stored in the brain? Lu Chen took a deep breath. If that was the case, then the toll was indeed a bit expensive. Isn't this too much? Big Brother Dai Tu looked at Lu Chen. Young man, you are a pure and innocent newbie. You are too honest. There are loopholes in this thing that can be exploited. Ah. Lu Chen looked at Big Brother Dai Tu in surprise. There is a bug. Lu Chen really did not know where there was a loophole. Of course there is. Forget it, we are fated, so I will tell you. She wants a memory of the person you love the most. You can love a few more people on a daily basis. When the time comes, you will have a lot of choices. Lu Chen was shocked. What kind of bug was this? Humans must love everyone. Don't be so narrow-minded. Lu Chen took a deep breath and nodded solemnly. What Big Brother Dai Tu said makes sense. But is there any way to remedy it now? Big Brother Dai Tu looked at Lu Chen and hesitated. Ahem, there is, but I am really short on money to buy medicine recently. I can't think of anything at the moment. Lu Chen immediately understood and gave Big Brother Dai Tu 100 gold coins. Big Brother Dai Tu looked at the money with some disdain. As the leader, you have to think for your subordinates. Lu Chen gave him another 900 gold coins. 1,000 gold coins was nothing to Lu Chen, but it was definitely a huge sum of money to the average player. I can tell that you are a sentimental person at first glance. Big Brother Dai Tu's eyes lit up. He quickly put away the gold coins, then whispered in Lu Chen's ear. Haven't you heard of the saying, money makes the world go round? Give her 1,000 gold coins, and she will let you pass. But little brother Dai Tu, I have to tell you something. Big Brother Dai Tu suddenly became serious. The path of Jiutian is as difficult as ascending to heaven. The fewer ties you have, the further you can go in the end. The bridge of helplessness is to make you stronger. After crossing the bridge of helplessness, forget a person, and you will receive a 10% increase in attributes. At the same time, you will also forget those useless things. In order to become stronger, more people choose not to pay to cross the bridge. Lu Chen frowned slightly. Big brother, what about you? Me. Big Brother Dai Tu's smile was a little lonely. I have too much on my shoulders. If I am not strong enough, I can't even protect the person I love the most. What is the use of remembering? If you love that person enough, then forget her. Chapter 432. There were a lot of people on Big Brother's side, but not everyone knew the rules of the Bridge of Helplessness. The captains with inside information were explaining to their team members. Lu Chen already knew how to cross the Bridge of Helplessness. He walked in front of the old woman. Excuse me, how much will it cost to cross? The old woman looked at Lu Chen and smiled. I quite like people like you who are straightforward. I can let you cross for 10,000 gold coins, but you will lose the chance to increase your basic attributes by 10%. You should know that this is not a small bonus. Are you willing to lose this opportunity for someone? Besides, not everyone can take out such a large sum of money. Lu Chen smiled brightly. Are there any other grades? The old woman looked at Lu Chen in surprise. The fee to cross the Bridge of Helplessness was already an open secret, but there were not many who asked about other grades. 10,000 gold coins, 90% of people could not take it out, not to mention the higher grades. There are, but I'm afraid you don't have that much money. When the surrounding people heard that there were other grades, they suddenly quieted down and looked at Lu Chen in surprise. Lu Chen smiled faintly. You can tell me about it. Maybe I can get it. Okay, I have two types of tolls. One is 1 million gold coins. Not only do you not have to pay for the memory, but you can also get the 10% attribute bonus. Lu Chen finally breathed a sigh of relief. This method was already a safe choice. What about the other one? Tell me first, do you have 1 million gold coins on you? In high-level maps, some bounty hunters would have so much money on them. But that was only after they reached a higher level and became stronger. Those who could take out so much money before crossing the Bridge of Helplessness were definitely rare. Yes, tell me the next one. The old woman looked at Lu Chen again and narrowed her eyes. Okay, then the next one, 100 times more. 100 million gold coins, memory retention, 20% attribute bonus. When they heard this price, the others suddenly exploded. Damn, 100 million gold coins? Are you kidding me? Who would have so many gold coins? I'm afraid that only a powerful organization can accumulate hundreds of millions of gold coins. No organization would spend so much money on a single person. Fuck, I can't even afford 10,000, let alone 1 million. Forget it. In order to become stronger, I'm willing to forget that person. However, at this moment Lu Chen's voice was heard. I'll pay 100 million. Dao Tu almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Could this guy afford 100 million gold coins? In this second heaven where currency was extremely scarce, how could he take out 100 million? Fuck this guy is too rich. Who is he? People from the 5 major powers? The 5 great powers can't give out so much for everyone. Lu Chen quickly paid the money. Obtain the title money can reach the heavens. Basic 4-dimensional attributes increased by 20%. Another title. But this time, Lu Chen nodded in satisfaction. 100 million was a large sum of money to him, accounting for half of his total assets. However, it was definitely worth it to have 10% more attributes than others. Moreover, his basic attributes were already high, and his 20% increase was much greater than others. This deal was definitely worth it. Young man, I really couldn't tell. You can go over now. The old woman still had a smile on her face, but it seemed more sincere than the polite smile from before. Lu Chen nodded. Dao Tu's words just now had influenced Lu Chen. He still remembered that Qin Sheng had told him that there were no real NPCs in Jiutian, which meant that this woman was actually a player. Since she could take the money and let him go, it was very likely that she had a higher authority. In the end, Lu Chen tried to ask, and as expected, he received an unexpected reward. Just as Lu Chen stepped onto the bridge of helplessness, Dao Tu's shout came from behind him. Little brother, it's 100 million, is it worth it? Lu Chen stopped and turned to look at Dao Tu with a smile. The person I want to remember is definitely not a burden to me. On the contrary, she is my motivation. Moreover, I don't like to be led by the nose. Brother, thank you for letting me keep this memory. Lu Chen pushed a trade window and entered 1 million gold coins to Dao Tu. This is the reward. Dao Tu's eyes were filled with shock. That guy gave him 1 million gold coins for free. However, at the same time, he also gave him a super difficult problem. In the past, he did not have a choice, but now, how should he choose? Walking on the bridge of helplessness, Lu Chen noticed that someone was knocking on the door of the gaming cabin. Lu Yi ran to her brother's room and pulled him out of the gaming cabin. It was not easy for this girl to wait until now to find Lu Chen. Brother, why didn't you tell me earlier? Lu Yi was a little angry. Li Muhua knows. Lu Chen scratched his head. I didn't want to hide it from you, but I didn't find the right opportunity to say it. That 10 steps must hate me. TSK, do you think we're stupid? Lu Yi's anger had obviously not subsided. We all know what kind of person you are. Sister Nuanuo said that you must have done this to prevent more powerhouses from finding trouble with us. It's just that some people on the internet don't seem to understand you. Speaking of this, Lu Yi could not help but feel sorry for her brother. Brother, do you want to clarify things? Lu Chen smiled and shook his head. What's there to clarify? If I really clarify things, then wouldn't I have killed so many people for nothing? I don't care what others think of me. Don't go around talking about it. Develop yourselves well. Okay, got it. Brother, Lu Yi said and walked over to hide in Lu Chen's arms like a spoiled child. You must be careful when you're alone in the future. Lu Chen touched Lu Yi's hair. Okay, I will. Looking at Lu Yi, Lu Chen smiled slightly. How could he forget about his sister? Being able to get the understanding of his friends was the happiest thing for Lu Chen. As for the others, Lu Chen did not care. On the contrary, he needed these people who did not understand him to make others think that Mad God and the players on Earth had broken up. After spending a huge sum of 100 million, Lu Chen did not feel anything. Earning money was not difficult for him. It seems that being rich is also a kind of ability. Lu Chen sighed. If there's a chance to make money in the future, I'll have to earn more, lest I encounter such a strange request again. Speaking of which, if I had to choose, who would I choose? It should be Lu Yi. Lu Chen thought about it and found that there was no suspense in this question. Unknowingly, Lu Chen had already passed the Naraka Bridge. Looking back at the river of forgetfulness, Lu Chen shook his head. Were there countless souls gathered there? Spirit Condensation Mountain gave birth to a suboriginator. Would something terrible be born here as well? Thinking of this possibility, Lu Qin could not help but shudder. After the battle with the tiger dragon, he really did not want to fight underwater. Even if there were, he did not want to go there for the time being. In front of him was the monster mountains. Compared to the monster forest, the quality of the monsters in the monster mountains was much lower. However, there were many species, and they were all gathered together. Snake, wolf, tiger, bear, flower demon. I have these bloodlines. Fox. Tree demon. What's that supersized weasel? As Lu Qin infiltrated, he could find the 5 fairies, lion, tiger, elephant, and ox here. This was the best place to farm bloodlines. It's a pity that their quality is not very high. I don't know if they will drop the best evolution materials. If they can't rise in stars, I can still fuse with another bloodline. Let's try their talents first, and upgrade the bloodline and army to level 100. The mountain people's quest should not be simple. Lu Qin still needed to prepare. With a large number of clones, Furball, Suboriginator, Young Hundun, and Taotai helping to farm, Lu Qin's farming efficiency was extremely high. Even with 9 kills, his experience bar was still increasing. Little ones, you haven't farmed in a long time. Let's move and level up. Chapter 433. Lu Qin focused on hunting foxes first. The foxes here were snow foxes, fire foxes, and charm foxes. There were elites or bosses with multiple tails, but there wouldn't be more than 3. Lu Qin deliberately lowered the damage and looked at the fox's talents. The most important talent of these foxes was evasion. To be precise, when they attacked, they would cause the attacker to hallucinate for a short period of time, causing the normal attack to miss. The probability wasn't very high, about 1 in 10. But the scariest thing was that once they evaded, Lu Qin's entire 5-hit combo would be completely evaded. Lu Qin thought about this problem. Although the combo consisted of several attacks, perhaps Jiutian's judgment was that no matter how many combo attacks there were, they were all just one attack. Once they evaded, they would evade all the combo attacks included in this attack. Of course, the specific situation still required the Fox Demon bloodline. 1,000 Fox Demons were quickly collected, and Lu Qin exchanged for the Fox Demon bloodline. Fox Demon bloodline. First job advancement. Rank 0, 12% chance to cause the enemy's vision to distort through charm, thereby evading the enemy's normal attack, including all the passive effects of this attack. 1% chance to evade the enemy's skills. T-escape. This talent is quite strong. It can even evade skills. This is definitely possible. Let's see what other talents the wild monsters have first, then decide which to merge with and which to replace. For 2 weeks, Lu Qin had been wandering around the monster mountain range, constantly collecting new bloodlines. Even if these bloodlines couldn't be used temporarily, as long as he kept them, they could be used in the future when he rose in stars. On this day, Lu Qin opened the lightless sky flame pillar and the black coffin dead zone, sitting there and studying bloodlines. There were a large number of clones around, and a group of battle pets were cleaning up the battlefield. Lu Qin sadly realized that his level was no longer up to him. Whether he fought monsters or slacked off, it didn't have much effect on his level. His focus was still on the bloodlines of the 5 immortals: fox, rat, weasel, hedgehog, snake. Other than the snake venom he had, the remaining 4 were all new. The fox demon bloodline increases evasion. The rat demon bloodline steals the opponent's attack. The weasel demon bloodline is a weasel demon bloodline. Attacks break the opponent's defense. The hedgehog demon bloodline reflects damage. The damage reflection seems to be the best, and can be stacked with my profound armor. But the damage reflection is only effective against close-range attacks. It has no effect against long-range attacks and skills. In reality, the effect is not as good as I thought. Lu Qin carefully analyzed the bloodlines. Forget it, I'll use the fox demon first. Although the dodging rate isn't too high, it can definitely change the outcome of the battle if I can dodge it once in the future. Fusing with the fox demon bloodline. Upgrade to Tier 1 and Tier 2. Fox demon bloodline. First job transition. Second rank 16% chance of dodging an enemy's normal attack, including all passive effects attached to the attack. 2% chance of dodging an enemy's technique. 2% chance. I'll wear it first. After dealing with the new talent, Lu Chen upgraded the talent in his hands again. The materials he had now could upgrade 3 talents. He chose the Werewolf Bloodline's Critical Hit, the Flower Demon Bloodline's Vision Enhancement, and the Vengeful Spirit Bloodline's Attack Reduction. At this point, Lu Chen had temporarily settled all his talents. Werewolf Bloodline, Snake Demon Bloodline, Venomous Spider Bloodline, Succubus Bloodline, Tiger Demon Bloodline, Monkey Demon Bloodline, Corpse Demon Bloodline, Vengeful Spirit Bloodline, Bat Demon Bloodline, Bear Demon Bloodline, Fox Demon Bloodline. 11 major systems. Werewolf Bloodline, Tiger Demon, Succubus Bloodline, Vengeful Spirit Bloodline, Tiger Demon, and Bat Demon were all Tier 1 and Tier 2 talents, while the other 5 were Tier 9 talents. After 2 weeks, Lu Chen was already level 100. Lu Chen focused on his other hidden ID. Money Can Reach the Heavens, Demon Sovereign's Eye, Tiger's Courage and Dragon's Might, Silent Moon Vanguard, Take the Top, Capture the Tiger, Blood Pool Vanguard, Elite, Especially Strong, Especially Agile, Especially Muscular Null Leader, First Transformation Demonized Boss. Damn, it's so long. Oh right, after fusing with the new bloodline, take a look at my form. After fusing with the Bear Demon, there aren't many changes, just that my chest muscles have doubled in size. I don't know what will happen after fusing with the Fox. I hope it won't be too big. Lu Chen took off his human skin. There weren't many changes to the demon, just that 2 furry ears grew on top of his head, growing on top of his mighty and domineering horns. Damn. Fox ears. Damn it, why are they so feminine? It's completely different from my style. Lu Chen was feeling depressed, but when he turned his head, he found that he had an additional fox tail. This really drove him crazy. Such a mighty and domineering demon, with a pair of furry ears and a furry tail. This felt like a pair of muscular men and women's clothing. Damn it. Why did fusing with a fox cause 2 changes? Damn it. Lu Chen missed Lu Yi too much. He hoped that he could kill the spiritual martial apothecary as soon as possible. Then he should have a chance to see Lu Yi again. By then, he would definitely ask her to throw him into her alchemy furnace to refine him. After letting out a long sigh, Lu Chen realized that he couldn't be handsome for more than 3 seconds. Finally, he stepped on the path to becoming uglier and uglier. I really shouldn't have fused with it. If I continue to fuse with it endlessly, what kind of monster will I become in the end? Lu Chen had no choice. He had changed into a human skin, and he didn't want anyone to see his current demon form. Now that he had reached level 100 and obtained the talent bloodline, it was time for Lu Chen to leave this place. Let's go. Next stop, Fallen Immortal Plains. The mountain man is on that map. I just don't know if that guy will find another hidden place to hide. All the way to the north, crossing over many mountains, the front suddenly became a flat land. Lu Chen successfully found the map stone tablet. Fallen Immortal Plains. The stars fell into the jade plate, and the immortals fell here. Legend has it that this is the site of the War of the 10,000 Immortals. The stars have changed and time has passed. The immortals left without a trace, but they attracted the immortals. Lu Chen was staring at the words on the stone tablet in a daze. Was this the site of the War of the 10,000 Immortals? Did the War of the 10,000 Immortals really exist? Were those people really immortals? Or were they itinerant immortals like Mu Xian? Or were they both? Solipsistic, you're finally here. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Suddenly, a voice came from behind him. Lu Chen frowned slightly and turned around. This person was actually the mountain man. It's you? You've been waiting for me? Don't get me wrong. I'm not interested in men. The mountain man wore a bamboo hat. At first glance, he looked like an expert, but when he spoke, he was not serious. It was similar to the first time they met. Lu Chen was speechless. I didn't think that. He follow me. Lu Chen followed him. When they arrived at a remote thatched cottage, the mountain man poured Lu Chen a cup of tea. What kind of tea? Is it 50 spiritual energy per cup? Looks like you've drunk it before. The mountain man laughed. With your attributes, 50 spiritual energy is nothing. Lucian smiled sinisterly. Wrong. 50 spiritual energy is very important. Then he drank it in one gulp. Plus 50 spiritual energy. Another cup. Lucian wiped his mouth. I'm not bragging, but I can drink until you go bankrupt. Chapter 434. How did you know I would come? Lucian asked as he sipped his tea. The mountain man took off his bamboo hat and placed it on the stone table. He smiled at Lucian. You defeated Poison Master Immortal in the arena and asked for my whereabouts. I knew you would come to find me. Lucian nodded and refilled his cup. There wasn't much tea in the teapot. Lucian drank 3 cups and it was gone. This guy was the same as Mu Xian. They were both stingy. Every time, they would only bring half a pot of tea to entertain people. After 3 rounds of tea, the mountain man smiled. Hey, don't just drink tea. Are you going to open the higher difficulty? Yes. I want to open the purgatory difficulty. Tell me what's the mission? Mission? Ha ha ha. I don't need a mission. I just need you to agree to one of my requests. Lucian frowned and looked at the mountain man. You don't need a mission? The mountain man's smile didn't change. I was going to do a mission, but after you defeated Green Wolf, I decided to cancel these meaningless things. How can it be meaningless? You can get rewards by doing missions. I got seed from that mission. It doesn't matter. Even if there's no mission, the reward will still be given. Lucian stopped smiling. Obviously, this request wasn't so easy to accept. What is it? Fight with me. Ah. Lucian was shocked. Lucian wasn't sure how strong the mountain man was, but he was at least on the same level as Mu Xian. In other words, the mountain man's strength was at least an itinerant immortal. Could he win against an itinerant immortal? Little guy, don't be nervous. I'm just itching to fight you. It's boring to do nothing in the second layer of heaven. You can accompany me for some exercise. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. I'll give you a gift in the end. It shouldn't be worse than the hell and purgatory difficulty missions. Lucian's expression was serious. What's the difficulty of the game after the battle? Purgatory. Lucian nodded. As long as there was a reward, it didn't matter if he did the mission or not. Besides, he didn't need to win this battle. It was purely a competition. Sure. Lucian's lips curled up slightly. To be honest, I've long wanted to experience just how strong an expert like you is. The man from the mountain smiled. I don't think you'll be disappointed. With that, the man in the mountain waved his hand, and a sealed environment was formed within 10,000 meters. No one will be watching this battle. You don't have to hold back. Show me your full strength. The mountain man stood up and arrived at the center of the plain in the blink of an eye. Let me see what your upper limit is. Lucian narrowed his eyes slightly. Did this person want to see the upper limit of his combat strength? To be honest, he had never calculated it himself. But one thing was for sure. Ever since he had reached the second heaven, no one was worthy of his full strength. The tiger dragon and green wolf were the same. A person who could make him go all out could only make Lucian feel excited. Lucian also stood up and walked towards the fallen immortal plane, standing in front of the mountain people. You're not going to use your demon transformation? Lucian shook his head gloomily. If this guy saw his new appearance, he would probably be laughed at. Whether or not I can see the demon transformation depends on whether you have the strength to do so. Hee, you'll know soon enough. Be careful, I won't go easy on you next. Me too. Both of them stopped smiling at the same time. Outside the fallen immortal plane, a group of people was standing in front of the map tablet. We're finally here. Let's go in. Huh? Why can't we go in? There seems to be a barrier. Is it the mountain protection array? I've never heard of the fallen immortal plane that we can't enter. These people tried several times, but still couldn't enter the fallen immortal plane. Maybe it's maintenance. Let's go and kill some monsters first. We'll come back later. 3 hours later, in the Galaxy Server District 19, all the players received a system notification. Player Solipsistic represents all the players in District 19 to increase the difficulty of the game to Hell mode. What? Hell mode? It's that guy again. We're being represented by that guy again. Player solipsistic represents all the players in District 19 to increase the difficulty of the game to the highest difficulty, Hell Mode. Damn. What? Hell Mode? There's even a Purgatory tier. Is there a mistake? Why are there two announcements at the same time? It can't be that fast. It's over. It's really Hell Mode. Our team was killed by a monster that was 4 levels lower than us. Instant kill. The real Hell Mode is here. From now on, this second heaven will become the real Hell Mode. Does anyone know how to change servers? Can anyone tell me? I can't take it anymore. I want to change servers. Change my ass. This is the Galaxy server. How can you change servers? You can't change servers for the rest of your life. Of course, there were a lot of people who paid attention to the PvP arena. They knew that there was no lack of super strong players in Hell Mode in other servers. However, those who came out of the Advanced Mode server were extremely strong. It was inevitable. Only by surviving in a difficult environment would one have the chance to become stronger than others. In front of the door of life and death, the 5 people from the Wood Mansion who were preparing to clear the dungeon stopped and looked at each other. He really increased the difficulty of the game to Hell Mode. That lunatic. Sigh, this is great. I thought that this training would be easier. Now it has become the most miserable team in the family. Xiao Tian smiled. Actually, it's a good thing. Only by rushing to the third heaven without relying on the family's power can we shut the others up. Geo Air looked at the sky in the north. Did that guy unlock Purgatory? Nothing could stop him. That meant that he might be going to complete the last mission of the second heaven soon. Spiritual Martial Apothecary. A super heavenly domain boss that most people didn't have the chance to see. Could he win this time? The core team of the Wild Waves team killed the monsters in front of them and surrounded Lung Nua. Nua, the guild leader, has increased the difficulty of the game. Luckily, we were prepared and didn't panic just now. Lung Nua, Ning Shuang, and Lu Yi looked at the sky above the forest in the north. They didn't know where that person was now. Hell Mode is beneficial for us to become stronger. This is an opportunity for us. Lung Nua took a deep breath and said to everyone, "Everyone, continue to level up. We must rely on ourselves to rise in this Hell Mode world." Okay, we've been prepared for a long time. I want to find that irresponsible master in the third heaven. Yes, rely on ourselves. No more relying on Mad God. Fallen Immortal Plains. Both of their health points had recovered to full. Lu Chen took a deep breath and looked at the mountain man opposite him. You didn't disappoint me. The mountain man smiled. You have also far exceeded my expectations. You're going to find Spiritual Martial Apothecary next, right? Lu Chen nodded. I have to do this quest. I have to find Lu Yi. Yes, that guy is very strong. You might not be able to defeat him. Lu Chen didn't say anything. This is my gift to you. The mountain man threw 2 items to Lu Chen. Immortal Weapon, Staff of Xidagarba, Heavenly Technique, Buddha's Salvation. Amongst technique and weapon? Lu Chen looked at the mountain man in surprise. What's so strange about that? You have all classes. The mountain man smiled. Remember, you have to be very careful when fighting Spiritual Martial Apothecary. Because if you lose, you might really return to the first heaven. He has such a skill. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes. Okay, thanks. Chapter 435. After the battle with the mountain man, Solipsistic activated the Solipsistic difficulty. At the same time, Solipsistic disappeared. A month later, people began to adapt to the Purgatory difficulty. More teams had to find allies to help them through the difficulties. Due to the sudden increase in difficulty, the battles in the second heaven seemed to have ceased. Everyone was busy adapting to the new difficulty as soon as possible. The bounty hunter group hadn't had any business for a long time. There were fewer and fewer rich people in the district, so their business naturally became bleak. It was worth mentioning that from the increase in difficulty to the hard difficulty, and then to the Purgatory difficulty, the player's living space was getting smaller and smaller. However, it stimulated the development of life skills. Potioneering, refining, fishing, cooking, talisman crafting, and other professions became important ways to earn money. However, under the super difficulty, The drop rate was also more terrifying than ever before. The quality of the dropped equipment was also greatly improved. The Radiant Moon werewolves could drop dark gold firearms. At the same time, the players on Earth quietly developed under the increased difficulty of the game. On one hand, although the difficulty of the game increased, they still had Lu Chen's personal dungeon. The difficulty of the dungeon seemed to be independent of the system, and it had become a training ground. On the other hand, Green Wolf had indeed been farmed to level 1. With so many people farming him, it was already good that he didn't get into the negatives. His super powerful equipment was taken by the Earth Alliance. The strongest among them was the Sanqing sword. It was said that there was a huge dispute within the Earth Alliance over the ownership of this set of equipment. In the end, it was decided that the strongest players in the main forces would compete for the equipment dropped by Green Wolf. This time, Stardust Handsome, Sheik Lu Yi Ning Shuang, and the others had become the strongest competitors. After all, Lu Chen had personally trained them before. Wild Wave's level was now several levels higher than all the other players on Earth. With the equipment that Zhou Air gave them, they were like a tiger that had grown wings. After more than a year of development, Wild Waves, which used to be a ragtag team, had finally become one of the strongest guilds in the world. A month later, at the finals of the tournament, Wild Waves and the others were competing in different venues. Sister Nua Brother Blackhole won easily. That set of pauldrons is already ours. 10 Steps came back to report the good news. Lung Nua nodded. 10 Steps sighed. Our guild has already snatched 2 pieces of equipment. I never thought that we would be so strong now. Floral Fragrance slapped 10 Steps heavily. Are you stupid? Our guild is already very strong. 10 Steps scratched his head and smiled embarrassedly. Hey, I was just lamenting. We used to be bullied by friendship every day. Lung Nua smiled slightly. That's right. But she didn't know why. But after the guild became stronger, she wasn't as happy as she had imagined. She still remembered the time when the president asked her with a smile, "Were you bullied?" She still couldn't forget how touched she was at that time. The guild was getting stronger and stronger, but the guild leader was getting further and further away. If she could, she would rather go back to the beginning. 10 Steps, tell me the truth. Do you blame the president? Thinking of that person, Lung Nua looked at 10 Steps. Strange boss. How is that possible? We all know what kind of person boss is. When he stabbed out with his sword, I already understood. 10 Steps stopped smiling. It's just that, ever since that sword strike, I had a feeling that the guild leader might not come back to see us. The atmosphere was somewhat heavy. After a long time, Huaxiang sighed and looked at the plains behind her. Do you still remember the first time you met the president? We thought he would be killed by wild monsters. Everything seems to have happened yesterday. But from now on, the president will have to challenge even more unpredictable and powerful enemies alone. That's right. Boss has been in the purgatory mode for a month. Why hasn't he gone to the third heaven domain? Is there no announcement for going to the third heaven domain? There is an announcement, but it's only for the players in the world. Yeah, it's been a month. Why hasn't he gone? At the border of the fallen immortal plains, there were mountains. Beyond the mountains, there was an endless ocean. Lu Chen didn't know whether it was an ocean or a huge river like the River of Forgetfulness. In the middle of the steep mountain peak, a wide river with rapid flow fell straight down, forming a spectacular waterfall. Halfway up the mountain near the waterfall, there was a person sitting on a flat rock protruding out of the mountain. Behind him, a group of divine beast cubs and rare pets were playing around. But these couldn't disturb that person's cultivation. This person was Lu Chen. After the battle with the mountain people, he didn't go directly to the spiritual martial apothecary. If the mountain people said that person was very strong, then he was definitely very strong. During this period of time, he had been cultivating his cultivation method here. One was the 3 transformations of gods and demons, and the other was the newly obtained Buddha saves all lives. The little guys usually went to the mountains to kill monsters to help Lu Chen level up. When they were tired, they would return to Lu Chen to rest. Now was their time to rest. This cultivation lasted from morning to late at night. This cultivation had been going on for a month, and it would continue. But people needed to rest. Late at night, Lu Chen opened his eyes slightly and looked back. The army members were still keeping watch, but the little guys were already asleep. Lu Chen smiled and shook his head. He stood up and stretched his arms and legs. The second transformation is good enough. There's still the third transformation, Buddha saves all lives. Damn, it's still a few months. Damn, it takes a few months to learn a skill. Are all heaven-level skills so crazy? Forget it. I'm going to level up anyway. There's no need to rush. After sitting for a long time, he needed to move. The 3 transformations of gods and demons didn't need to be practiced. They were all skills that added attributes. Buddha saves all lives only had one move, so it didn't need to be practiced. On the other hand, Lu Chen didn't have the chance to study Phantom Shadows. There were 3 moves in Phantom Shadows. The first move, Ghost Parade, created a large number of illusions. He had already used this move in the battle with Qing Lang, but the power of Phantom Shadows didn't lie in creating a large number of illusions. Phantom Shadows alone couldn't be considered an advanced Earth-level movement skill. The second move, Phantom Shadow Descent. His real body could appear in any of the illusions. From the second move onward, the power of Phantom Shadows was truly displayed. There were 300 illusions. As long as the illusions still existed, he could appear in any of them. Phantom Shadows moved very quickly. After appearing, it was even harder to catch them. The third move, Ghost Possession. All the illusions created before could transform into other people's appearances and entangle the enemy. They ignored evasion methods, such as movement and clones. The illusions themselves didn't attack. They were only afraid of Heaven's Wrath attacks. At the same time, the user could still appear in any of the illusions. After appearing, the Ghost Possession effect would disappear. Ghost Possession was the essence of Phantom Shadows. With 300 Ghost Possession, he could appear in any of them. This meant that Lu Chen had 300 chances to get close. Anyone who got close to Lu Chen knew that if this guy got close to them, it was almost as if they could prepare to return to the reincarnation realm. I need to practice this skill more. After saying that, Lu Chen directly activated the skill. Beside the uninhabited waterfall, hundreds of ghosts instantly appeared. Then Lu Chen quickly appeared. Chapter 436. 2 months later, the players tenaciously adapted to the purgatory difficulty. More and more teams in the wild were trying to hunt a monster. One had to admit that humans had a lot of potential. 3 months later, the quiet 19th district began to become active again. Teams could already be seen fighting in the wild. For months, 5 months. Half a year later, the players in the 19th district finally fully adapted to the purgatory difficulty. At this time, many people's equipment had been upgraded. The overall strength of the 19th district had increased a lot after this disaster. However, people seemed to have forgotten that there was still one person who said that he wanted to defeat the super boss in the purgatory difficulty. The heavenly boss that no one wanted to face, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. Even the people from the major factions were not willing to raise the difficulty of the game to purgatory level. The reason was probably related to that terrifying existence. On this day, in the depths of the fallen immortal plane, someone saw a 9-winged celestial dragon flying out from the mountains. In the sky, above the clouds, the 9-winged celestial dragon was domineering. It roared and flashed past. Although people could not see the figure on the 9-winged celestial dragon, wherever the 9-winged celestial dragon passed, divine beasts, monsters, mutated beasts, and magic treasure mounts were forced to surrender. Only one person had such a domineering mount. Damn, this is too much. I have a dark gold mount too. Why did it make way for him? He's back. It's been half a year. He's going to. Do you still need to ask? The only place that's attractive to him is the second heaven. The Tower of Babel. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. He's going to challenge the Tower of Babel. Quick, go offline and watch the live stream. The news spread like wildfire in the 19th district. Not only in the 19th district, but also through the heart-refining courtyard. The news quickly spread among many human galaxies. Earth Village. Mad God appeared? He He's going to challenge the Tower of Babel. Let's watch the live stream. You're still calling him Mad God? Has he forgotten all about us? But we still have to see how strong he has become. The Purgatory difficulty boss. The second heaven players said that we can only hope that he'll be the first to defeat the boss. Only by lowering the boss's attributes can we have hope to defeat it in the future. Stop talking nonsense and log off. Usually, there would be a sea of people here. But suddenly, the number of online players dropped sharply. There were not even a few people in sight. Heart Refinement Courtyard. The boss still has half of its health left. Hey, Solipsistic is going to challenge the Heaven Domain boss. Someone saw him heading towards the Tower of Babel. Really? I'm sorry, but it's fine if we don't fight this boss. We have to watch the live stream. I want to see if he's as strong as the legends say. Group 7. After Sengoku Yenran got the news, she was stunned. He's gone. He then quickly went offline. The 5 members of the Wood Mansion's team were registering for the Azura Arena. Right now the most popular matches. The ticket taker was checking the information. At this moment, Xiao Tian suddenly went offline for a short while before quickly returning to normal. Solipsistic has appeared. He's going to challenge Tong Tian Tower. TSK then hurry up and go offline. Xiao Tian nodded and said to the ticket seller, Senior, I'm sorry, but we won't be challenging it for now. We have a friend who wants to challenge Tong Tian Tower, and we want to watch the live broadcast. Solipsistic. The ticket taker frowned as the image of that silly kid appeared in his mind. He's your friend? Yes. Xiao Tian smiled. As a member of the Wood Mansion, he obviously knew that the person who was talking to them was not an NPC. His attitude was very humble. The old man smiled and shook his head. I didn't expect that guy to be so strong. Back then, I gave him a lot of advice, and that kid listened more seriously than anyone else. Anyway, if he could save some energy, he definitely wouldn't waste any energy. A Purgatory difficulty boss. That kid should have met that guy. The 5 members of the Wood Mansion had already gone offline. The ticket taker thought for a while, and decided that since no one was coming, he might as well quit for once. At most, he would lose some achievement points. The mountain man drank a cup of tea in front of his straw hut, and was slightly lost in thought. Kid, you're out of the mountain? Hee, let me see how strong you've become. Then he disappeared in a flash. District 2, District 49, District 44, the Python Beast King, Sunset Master and Disciple, Panga Force King, and many others. No matter what they were doing, quickly put down what they were doing and went offline. That person was going to challenge the Purgatory Tower of Babel. There was nothing more important than this. In the sky, Lu Chen stood on the dragon's head and looked down at the land. Was there a level 80 main city in front of him? Further ahead among the mountains, there was a towering tower that pierced the sky. Lu Chen's heart was as calm as still water as he looked at the huge tower indifferently. Babel Tower. He opened his quest tab, and there was only one quest. Sanctimonious. Louis, I hope to see you again. When the time comes, you must help me refine it again. Right now my wild monster form is a little unpresentable. Lu Chen shook his head. As he got closer to the Babel Tower, Lu Chen gradually put away his other thoughts. 9-winged dragon go down. The 9-winged sky dragon swooped down from the clouds straight to the ground. The strong wind blew, lifting Lu Chen's short hair, and his red battle robe fluttered. In midair, Lu Chen directly jumped down and retracted his 9-winged sky dragon at the same time. A moment later, he landed with a loud crash. In front of the Babel Tower, Lu Chen was as small as an ant. He took a deep breath, the battle intent in his heart still burning. He stepped forward and walked toward the Babel Tower. The moment Lu Chen entered the Babel Tower, countless viewers who had been waiting for a long time in the official live stream finally saw that figure. Gold ID Solipsistic. Red outfit. Wild blood sword god. Against the water scale sword hanging by his side. On his back, there was a strong black bow. But this time, Lu Chen had an additional Buddhist staff on his back, faintly flashing with white light. Why does Mad God have an additional weapon? Is that dark gold or orange equipment? The color doesn't seem right. White light. Could it be Celestial equipment? Wait, why can Mad God use the Buddhist staff? Maybe it's an all-class weapon. Mad God seems to be able to use any weapon. Forget it, let's watch first. In front of Lu Chen, a huge 20-meter-tall iron door was tightly shut. Lu Chen let out a sigh. This time, I don't have to use the left and right hand keys. Not bad, it saves me some time. With one hand pressed on the iron door, Lu Chen pushed hard. With a low creak, the iron door slowly opened in front of him. The entire boss room was filled with green fog. As soon as he stepped into the room, Lu Chen's HP began to drop. Minus 50,000, minus 50,000, 50,000 every second. Debuff. Vicious forbidden area. Lose 50,000 HP every second. There is no duration. This means that from the moment you enter this room, you will have to spend the rest of your life losing HP. Debuff. Blocked meridians. All skill damage reduced by 20%. Cooldown increased by 20%. Debuff. Poison explosion. Explodes once every 10 seconds. Total damage is 50% of all poison damage received during this period. You will be poisoned without even seeing the person. With just these 3 debuffs, many people might not even be able to see Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary's face, and would have already fallen. However, the person hiding in the poisonous fog did not seem to intend to avoid meeting him. A strange voice came from the depths of the poisonous fog. I heard, you want to kill me. Lu Chen looked toward the voice, and saw a figure gradually emerging from the green fog. Before he could see his face clearly, he could see his mouth open. You've kept me waiting. Solipsistic. Chapter 437. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. This boss actually knew about him. As the person walked out of the green poisonous fog, Lu Chen finally saw how the person looked like. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary no longer looked human. This person was about 5 to 6 meters tall, and wore a long robe. One could vaguely see that he was burly, but his face was haggard and dark. His strong body and corpse-like face formed an extremely uncomfortable contrast. Compared to this person, the old woman in front of the bridge of helplessness was like a delicate little sister. Speaking of which, I still have to thank you. It has been a long time since someone raised the difficulty to purgatory level. I spent every day in boredom. I can finally come out for some fresh air. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary twisted his neck and made a gurgling sound. Now with every second that passed, Lu Chen's HP was decreasing. 950 million HP? Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary easily knew Lu Chen's HP limit. Your HP is really exaggerated. Unfortunately, in front of me, you are still as fragile as paper. Lu Chen snorted. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. It feels good to step on other people's corpses to reach where you are today. So what? In this world, the strong are respected and the winner is the king. The king can change history, and let the future generations sing praises for him. As for the loser, only white bones are left. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary grinned. When I reach the peak of the second heaven, I can go to a higher heaven region. But what about Louis? She is still at the first heaven. Moreover, you should know very well why Divine Herbalist Valley became Ghost Valley. Unfortunately, Louis realized it too late. When she hardened her heart, she no longer had the ability to control her own fate. To be ruthless, one must be ruthless and decisive, right? Lu Chen looked coldly at this somewhat crazy person. Speaking of which, there seemed to be some similarities between the two of them. The desire to be strong. Obviously, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary was very excited now. Solipsistic. Don't tell me that you have not stepped on other people's corpses along the way. Therefore, you have no right to judge me. The 10 seconds were up. Lu Chen suddenly received 500,000 points of damage. In addition to the previous 10 seconds of damage, his HP had dropped by 1/7. Lu Chen shook his head and smiled indifferently. Blah blah blah. Judge you? I think you're mistaken. I don't need to go through a trial to kill you. Jior couldn't help but shake her head and sigh. This fellow was still so arrogant. Lu Chen drew the abyssal dragon crystal bow from his back, his eyes emitting green mist. Those who were familiar with Lu Chen knew that only when Lu Chen was extremely angry would he lose control of his body. But this time, before the battle had even begun, such a situation had already occurred. "What's going on with boss?" 10 Steps asked worriedly. On the other hand, Lu Yi's expression was solemn. She still remembered when her brother was 1v1 with the ace mid laner of the world champion team back then. Back then, her brother's expression was very similar to now. When fighting with such an expert, the slightest mistake could lead to defeat. So from the start, one had to be 120% focused and go all out. Is he going to get serious? Stardust narrowed his eyes slightly. God of War possession. Demon transformation. Lightless sky flame pillar. Black coffin dead zone. Lu Chen activated all 4 moves at the start. He stared at the opponent in front of him. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary revealed a cruel smile. Is it starting? Very good. I can't wait anymore. I really want to turn you into a voodoo person. Shinong's protection. Poison Master's possession. A golden light flashed across Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary's body. Shinong's protection. After receiving an attack, recover 40% of the attack's HP, and continuously recover 40% of the damage's HP for 5 seconds. One Shinong's protection was equivalent to reducing 80% of the attack's damage. Moreover, it was in the form of healing. In other words, any type of damage was the same. Then, a huge virtual image of an unknown species appeared behind Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. It was even bigger than the God of War possession. It was baring its fangs and brandishing its claws like a ghost. Poison Master's possession. Increase poison attack by 100%. After receiving an attack, the enemy will be poisoned. At the same time, the enemy will obtain the effect of lifesteal. After receiving all poisoned effects, the enemy will recover the same amount of HP for themselves. The excess HP will be in the form of a life shield. Seeing these 2 buffs, the group of people was dumbfounded. Fuck is this Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary? He is a medicine and poison master. His HP recovery is too insane. With these 2 skills, I doubt anyone can kill him. After receiving an attack, he can recover 80% of his HP. He can even poison his opponent. If his opponent is poisoned, he can recover his own HP. His total HP recovery is even higher than the damage received. That's too perverted. This is only his passive buff. Have you forgotten the debuff on Solipsistic? He has been poisoned by Forbidden Poisonous Land and Poison Outbreak. This is also a poison effect. That means that Lingwu Duzuan is already stealing life. It's true. Lingwu Duzuan already has a life shield. Damn, can anyone really defeat this kind of boss? I don't believe it. Others were shocked, while Lu Chen's friends were left with only despair at this time. Oh my god, there's no way out. I suspect that even if Green Wolf encountered this guy, he would only be killed. Boss, what should we do? There's no way to fight this. It's too difficult. There's really no way out. Boss. Sigh. Lu Chen looked coldly at Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. To be honest, the 2 skills that this guy used at the beginning were already enough to make him feel pressured. The damage of the medic was not good. However, the consensus view in Jiutian was that the medic was definitely the hardest to kill among all the major professions. If the damage was not enough, he could exhaust you to death. The weakness of the medic was perfectly compensated by the Poison Master. The Poison Master was one of the most difficult professions to deal with. Other than the Puppet Master, even the tank would not want to face a Poison Master. Therefore, some people chose to practice both medicine and poison. A powerful medicine master who practiced both medicine and poison was definitely a nightmare for all professions. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary was obviously the strongest medicine master and poison master in the 2nd heaven. He even had the ability to go to the 3rd heaven. According to Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary himself, he did not go to the 3rd heaven because he was pursuing the ultimate goal. Taking a deep breath, Lu Chen's blood began to boil. Lu Yi, I really have to thank you for finding me such an interesting opponent. I'm very excited. Excited? Ha ha ha. I'll make you regret entering this door later. Let's start with the appetizer. Berserk Demon King. Green Wolf also had this skill. Seeing this skill, the hearts of the Earth players tightened. Both players' pain increased by 300%. However, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary had an additional buff. Absolute Medicine Body, loss of pain nerves. Damn, it can be like this. This Berserk Demon King is a godly skill tailor-made for him. In the battlefield, there was a short silence for a few seconds. Suddenly, the two super strong players moved at the same time, as if they had agreed beforehand. 7 stars chasing moon. Flash shot. A figure like a ghost shot out an arrow instantly. Star Poison Body. Instant poison. The other turned into a green mist and instantly pierced through the solipsistic, who was moving at high speed. Chapter 438. Idiot, your attacks will only speed up your death. The Master of Spiritual Martial Apothecary's star-grade poison body was obviously stronger than the Immortal Slaughtering Poisoner. The Immortal Slaughtering Poisoner's star-grade poison body was used for concealment, while the Master of Spiritual Martial Apothecary directly combined the star-grade poison body with attack. The speed of instant poison exceeded the reaction time of a human. It was almost impossible to dodge. Lu Chen was also unsurprisingly hit. Lu Chen was also shocked. How could this guy capture his whereabouts so easily and hit him in one move? His eyesight and reaction time were far above his own. With one instant poison, Lu Chen was already poisoned. Minus 1,500,000 poisoned. Debuff. Poison lasts for 5 seconds. Everyone was stunned by the damage. For a normal player, one instant poison was enough to kill them 10 times. Not to mention there was a poison effect after 10 seconds. At the same time, Lu Chen's 4 arrows all hit their targets. Minus 930,000, double critical hit. Minus 1,740,000, triple critical hit. Minus 1,690,000, triple critical hit. Minus 950,000, double critical hit. Lu Chen's damage exploded again. Triple critical hit and double critical hit, dealing 5 million damage to the opponent in 4 attacks. The opponent's health points were revealed. 500 million. After playing Jiutian for so long, players already knew that there were 2 different types of Jiutian bosses. One type was the type of bosses that had extremely long health points, easily 1 or 2 billion. Although this type of boss had a lot of health points, it was actually not that scary. They were generally beast-type bosses, with high damage and health points, but low intelligence. The other type of boss was even scarier. They were generally humanoid bosses. Their health points were not that high, but their reaction time was almost the same as human players. This type of boss was far more terrifying than beast-type bosses. The Immortal Slaughtering Poisoner's mere 88 million health points was already difficult to surpass, let alone his master's 500 million health points. It was simply an astronomical figure. 5 million damage was equivalent to 100% of the damage, but the Master of Spiritual Martial Apothecary activated Shen Nong's protection almost at the same time, instantly recovering 2 million health points. At the same time, he also had a continuous recovery status, recovering 440,000 health points per second for 5 seconds. This was still considered a small amount. The effect of the Master of Poison's protection was activated. Lu Chen was hit by the instant poison and received an initial 5 million poison damage. At the same time, he was poisoned and received an initial 2 million damage. After hitting Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary, Lu Chen received 3,700,000 damage from the initial poison damage. Subsequently, he received another 1,500,000 damage every second. At the same time, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary recovered another 3,700,000 HP, coupled with the shield from the Forbidden Vicious Land. After being hit by Lu Chen, not only did Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary not lose any HP, but the durability of his life shield had also increased to 1,400,000. After that, it would increase by 1.94 million every second for 5 seconds. After hitting Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary, not only did he not lose any HP, but his life shield had also increased. On the other hand, Lu Chen's HP of 9.5 million had been reduced to 4.8 million. Lu Chen spat out a few mouthfuls of blood, due to the 300% pain system. Ha 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 ha, is it very depressing to fight me? You clearly dealt quite a lot of damage, yet the result is like this. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary looked at Lu Chen with great interest. Do you know what the limit is? The pinnacle of medicine was poison, and the pinnacle of poison was medicine. When poison and medicine are perfectly combined, I am immortal. You dare to touch my disciple? Very well. I want you to suffer a fate worse than death. I want you to become my voodoo slave. Witchcraft's secret technique, heart-devouring voodoo. Xiao Tian was in a state of shock. This guy is not a dual cultivator of medicine and poison. He is a triple cultivator of medicine and poison. Oh my god, it's actually a secret technique. Secret techniques were independent of the technique's level. Although its power might not be as strong as a high-level technique of the same level. As long as it was a secret technique, it would definitely have its outstanding points. In addition, it was rare in the world, making it difficult to guard against. Lu Chen stared at Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. To be honest, this guy was harder to deal with than he had imagined. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary had already activated the heart-devouring voodoo. A black shadow was as fast as lightning, pouncing on Lu Chen. Rejuvenation. Lu Chen healed himself first. There was no other way. Even he could not block the damage. Whether he could heal himself or not was another matter. He had to heal himself first. Low-level displacement might not be able to avoid the voodoo. Lu Chen immediately used his highest-level movement technique. Ghostly shadows. In an instant, the entire battlefield was filled with hundreds of solipsistic yans. All of them were moving quickly. For a moment, it was hard to tell which one was the real one. You want to trick me with this crappy movement technique? What a joke. However, the heart-devouring voodoo ignored all the illusions and went straight to the real Lu Chen. No, that voodoo is attracted by my poison. Lu Chen came back to his senses. Originator. At the critical moment, Lu Chen summoned the originator. As a puppet, the originator was not afraid of poison or voodoo. The voodoo entered the originator's body. A moment later, it came out of the originator and went back to Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary looked at the originator that was standing in front of Lu Chen in surprise. That thing is a puppet. The originator was not an average puppet, but it also had some of the characteristics of a puppet. Not even Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary had ever seen one like that. Unfortunately, you still can't escape. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary snorted. You're not the only one with a battle pet. 7-star poison men. Heart-devouring voodoo slaves. 8 people suddenly appeared in front of Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. Seeing these 8 figures, Zhenghua Yanran couldn't help but gasp. The heart-devouring voodoo slave was a tiger dragon. That guy had captured a tiger dragon as a heart-devouring voodoo slave. As for the other 7-star poison men, they were all in human form and were emitting different colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, purple, all of them. Clearly, they weren't trying to gather all the colors, but because they were poisonous enough. Lu Chen was even more worried. They were not in the water, so the tiger dragon could not exert its full strength. Even so, the originator would not be able to deal with the tiger dragon alone. Furball, go and help the originator. Little Furball used its thin and small body to quickly teleport to Little Yuan's side. It quickly transformed and resisted the tiger dragon goose slaves together. In the meantime, the 7-star poison men surrounded Lu Chen. 7-star poison formation. The 7 of them surrounded Lu Chen at the positions of the 7 stars. The colorful light on their bodies shone brightly as they attacked at the same time. In the formation, the 7-star poisons of different attributes quickly fused and exploded. Lu Chen found himself unable to move. The damage above his head was jumping rapidly. The numbers of different colors represented different types of poisons. The specific numbers could not be seen clearly, but his remaining 4,800,000 HP quickly emptied. -9,500,000, poison outbreak. A poison outbreak, Lu Chen was directly killed. Insta-kill. A real insta-kill. This time, it was not that Lu Chen did not try his best, but the opponent was too strong and did not give him any chance to breathe. He was insta-killed. This is too strong. There's no way I can beat him. I'm already so strong, and his poison men and voodoo slaves are equally terrifying. It's over. It seems that no one will be able to pass the second heaven in the future. I heard that the solipsistic still has a life. Could it be? I heard that too, but the difference in strength is too big. Even if he has 10 lives, it won't be enough. Hey, look at those poison men. They're still releasing the 7-star poison formation. They're waiting for the solipsistic to revive. Damn, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary is not going to give the solipsistic any chance. Chapter 439. Nirvana Rebirth. Lu Chen was reborn from the flames. All negative effects were removed. Taking advantage of the instant when the negative effects were removed, Lu Chen used his body movement to try to break free from the 7-star poison array. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary's face was full of disdain. It's actually Nirvana Rebirth. Then you should have 3 lives. As expected of Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary, he could tell the difference between Nirvana Rebirth and Nirvana Rebirth at a glance. Lu Chen's hidden trump card had been seen through by Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter how many lives you have. 7-star poison array, 7-star shift. The 7-star poison men quickly retreated and changed their positions. Their speed was extremely fast, almost comparable to Lu Chen's rapid shift. The 7 of them moved quickly on the field, constantly changing the range of the 7-star poison array. Dark Night Blink. Rapid shift. Lu Chen quickly avoided the 7-star poison men, to avoid being sealed in the 7-star poison array again. However, the other party wasn't chasing after him. They were changing their positions. Lu Chen had to constantly avoid being caught by the other party's changes. This was many times more difficult than directly avoiding the enemy's attack. Unfortunately, although Lu Chen's reaction was fast, he didn't learn geometry well in junior high school. The other party's array pattern changed too quickly. He wasn't paying attention, and was locked in the 7-star poison array for the second time. Once locked with his little HP, he would die in an instant. A second life. The last Nirvana Rebirth. It was also Lu Chen's last chance. The mountain man's eyes were almost narrowed into slits. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary is stronger than before. Has he really reached the limit? However, even if Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary was incomparably strong, with the mountain man's understanding of Lu Chen, although the solipsistic had been doing his best to respond to Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary's moves, he still felt that this battle was missing something. Moments later, the mountain man found the word in his mind. Yes, it's missing spirituality. The greatest impression that solipsistic gave him was that solipsistic's understanding and application of moves were full of spirituality. He was able to fully utilize the advantages of his own moves against the enemy's moves. The same move could become even more unexpected in his hands. In this battle, the solipsistic sword was lacking in this aspect. If this continued, there was no suspense in the outcome. The mountain man glared at Lu Chen. Kid, this isn't like you. Quickly think of a way to deal with it, or you'll lose. What about that move? Where are the weapons and cultivation methods I gave you? Why aren't you using them? Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary looked at the fleeing figure with a faint smile. On the last life, the solipsistic's performance was much better than the second time. Until now, he had not been locked onto by the 7-star poison array. Of course, under the effect of the vicious forbidden land, his health points were still dropping rapidly. Soon, his last life would end here. Kid, you're quite good at running. Do you know what you look like in my eyes now? Master Lingwu's eyes were burning. A stray dog. Didn't you say you wanted to kill me? Weren't you arrogant? Why can you only run now? You don't even have the courage to touch me? Did Louis find such a useless person like you? Ha 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 ha, what reincarnation? What good and evil will be rewarded? When you're strong enough, even if I go against heaven's will, who can stop me? You want to challenge me? Never. The more Master Lingwu spoke, the more excited he became. The smile on his face became more and more cruel. Solipsistic, you're lucky today. I'll let you become the sacrifice for that move. Master Lingwu's hands formed into claws. Endless poisonous gas rushed towards his claws, forming a green vortex that turned into dark green, and then black. The entire boss room was filled with black fog. It was like hell on earth. Outside Tong Tian Tower, the players here looked up at the sky. Above Tong Tian Tower, dark clouds gathered, forming a vortex. Strong winds blew all around. The Tong Tian Tower dungeon could no longer suppress Master Lingwu's terrifying strength. What is the limit of poison? I already know. Solipsistic, you should feel honored to be able to personally experience this. 7-star poison array, star poison explosion. Go back to the first layer of heaven for your father. The 7-star poison man instantly exploded and activated this attack. Hong 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 hong. 7 explosions caused countless explosions. The entire second floor of Tong Tian Tower suddenly exploded. Countless explosions occurred on the ground, covering the entire boss room. The terrifying explosions created 10 meters of poisonous gas. The world was in chaos and the earth trembled. In the live broadcast, the people could no longer see anything. They could only see the endless poisonous gas covering the entire second floor of Tong Tian Tower. My god, this is a true full map attack. Fuck, how many people go? How many people will die? This is a heaven domain boss in purgatory mode? Is this something a human can defeat? Even if someone from the third layer of heaven came, they wouldn't be his match. It's simply invulnerable. That fellow lone tyrant is likely going to be blasted to smithereens. That's 300% pain threshold. He has already died twice. Now that he's going to die again, the pain he's going to endure has already surpassed what a normal person can endure. Wood Manor's Jiu air covered her mouth as 2 streams of tears silently fell. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary was too strong. He was so strong that no one dared to challenge him. Even if that person was in front of him, he would be completely crushed and killed. Even now, Master Lingwu was still at full health. There was no way he could make a comeback. In a certain galaxy, on a certain planet, there was an ancient and majestic building. In one of the mansions, Guo Yanran was in a daze as she looked at the live broadcast on a projector stone. Solipsistic, you won't die, right? This question already had an answer. Under this kind of attack, who wouldn't die? Only Guo Yanran wasn't willing to believe it. That person who always had a lazy expression when fighting with her. That person who stubbornly wanted to take care of the tiger dragon underwater. Had actually been blown to pieces without any resistance. Lu Yi really wanted to rush into her brother's room and cry while hugging him. Brother. Lu Yi's tears couldn't stop falling. Her brother, who had never been defeated, had truly fallen in this battle. Perhaps everyone thought that Solipsistic had already fallen. But there was still one person. On a planet that was covered in snow all year round. A 13 to 14-year-old girl raised her hands. A ball of cold air appeared in her palms. The cold air gradually took shape and transformed into a blurry figure. A health bar appeared above the figure's head. What was surprising was that his health bar was 1. No matter what, that person wasn't dead yet. That's great, big brother. You're not dead yet. I knew you wouldn't die that easily. But you only have 1 health left. How are you going to defeat that person? That person with such a terrifying recovery ability and 500 million health. Chapter 440. The Stardust toxic explosion was still exploding crazily. Master Lingwu laughed wildly. Ha 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 ha. No one can survive from my Stardust toxic explosion. No one. I'll make sure you don't even have a corpse left. Ha ha ha. So what if I deceive my master and destroy my ancestors? So what if I poison and refine millions of people? Did you see that? This is the pinnacle of poison. Everything is poison. Everything can be used by me. I can defy the heavens. What can the heavens do to me? Ha 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 ha. Master Lingwu had gone crazy. His craziness made everyone tremble in fear. This guy is too scary. Is there anyone who can defeat him? No wonder he's the strongest grade 2 realm boss. He's already invincible. I'm not watching anymore. There's nothing to watch anymore. Give up. This guy is too crazy. There's only one way to defeat him. Unless there's someone even crazier than him. However, at this moment, a voice was heard in the midst of the explosion. The voice was calm, without any sadness or joy, but it was extremely solemn. It was like a mix of voices, extremely solemn. As long as hell is not empty, I swear not to become a Buddha. Only by saving all living beings can I achieve enlightenment. If I don't go to hell, who will? Buddha saves all living beings. With a boom, a golden light instantly exploded and swept across the entire area. At this moment, all the poisonous gas was swept away by the golden light. Even the surrounding vicious forbidden land was purified. The entire world seemed to have been purified at this moment. Master Lingwu looked at this scene in disbelief. How can this be? My 7-star poison array. This is an array. How can it be cleared away? My vicious forbidden land. This is a pseudo-realm technique. How can it be purified? At this moment, countless people looked at that figure. The man who only had 1 HP left, and was bleeding from all 7 orifices. But his entire body was glowing with golden light. At this moment, Lu Chen was holding the Ksitigarbha staff. His eyes were slightly closed as he stood solemnly. Buddha saves all living beings? What kind of technique is this? I've never seen Solipsistic use it before. Is this a heaven's might or a heaven technique? It can actually suppress such a horrifying technique, like the Stardust toxic explosion? That's not right. Buddha saves all lives looks very powerful. But it doesn't seem to have caused any damage. Buddha saves all lives only had one move, and it did not cause any damage. At first glance, it did not live up to its status as a heaven-grade cultivation technique. However, 3 statuses appeared on Lu Chen's body. 3 lives reincarnation. Every time you revive, the amount of HP lost will be added to the percentage of HP lost. At that time, Lu Chen didn't understand when he saw this state. He only figured it out when he was cultivating deep in the mountains. To put it simply, Lu Chen's 3rd life was now at the last sliver of HP. If it was in the past, he would not have lost more than 100% of his HP. This was because he would die if he lost more than 100% of his HP. After reviving, his HP would be full again, and the percentage of HP lost would be recalculated. However, under the effect of 3 lives reincarnation, Lu Chen had lost 299% of his HP. The 2nd state, Invincible Golden Body. When the user has 1 HP remaining, the user will no longer receive any damage over time. This effect is at most immune to the effects of Heaven Tier Middle Skill. However, the user will have to endure 200% pain. The 3rd state was the Exclusive Weapon State. Sacrificial Hell. Activate when equipped with Ksitigarbha Staff attack action. Will turn into a Buddhist Seal attack. Cancel action and shake back and forth. There were only 3 statuses, and none of them directly increased attack. They didn't seem very strong. But only Lu Chen knew how strong these 3 statuses were. It was simply heaven-defying. The effect of 3 lives reincarnation alone didn't have any practical significance, but it could be combined with a variety of skills to produce terrifying power. Invincible Golden Body was simply the nemesis of poison attacks and elemental attacks. Even if the user only had 1 HP left, they would still be alive. As long as they were alive, they could counterattack and escape. Sacrificial Hell was also very abnormal. The only difference between a Buddhist Seal attack, a Prophet's Spell attack, a Talisman Master's Talisman attack, and other long-range attacks was that they had no trajectory and were extremely difficult to dodge. Simply put, this was an attack mode that was between close-range and long-range attacks. When facing a close-range attack, unless the player had to dodge or predict the position in advance, it was almost impossible to dodge. Since the Buddhist Seal attack had no trajectory, it was equivalent to having the characteristics of close-range attacks. Of course, the Buddhist Seal also had its own weaknesses. That was, its attack power was not as high as pure close-range attacks, and the triggering rate of all its passive abilities was reduced by half. His body was also not as good as pure close-range attacks, and he couldn't hide far away like other long-range attacks, so his ability to protect himself was insufficient. However, sacrificial hell, was only a change in the attack mode. Lu Chen's attack power did not decrease, and he still had all his original advantages. The only effect was that the triggering rate of Lu Chen's passive abilities was reduced by 50%. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary narrowed his eyes slightly until he saw Lu Chen's HP. He suddenly felt relieved. Solipsistic, you can't be thinking that you can turn the tables with just a little HP left, right? Even if you don't suffer continuous damage, you'll die if I touch you. Moreover, not only is my HP full, but I also have more than 10 million health shields. Tell me, what's the use of you surviving? Oh, I understand. You must be thinking that if you don't use it now, you won't have the chance to use it in the future. Lu Chen looked at Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary calmly. You said extreme just now. Very good. Do you know what extreme is? Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary sneered. Why? Do you know better than me? You're a dying man. Why are you talking about extreme with me? Are you worthy? Lu Chen's face did not change. Instead, he smiled calmly. The last battle of the second heaven. Fine, I'll tell you what extreme is. Dragon's blood boil. When the skill was activated, Lu Chen's HP instantly became 0. Everyone who was watching the battle almost dropped their jaws. 0 HP? What the hell is this? Why didn't he die? This doesn't make sense. Can that Buddha crossing all lives have an immortal body? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Who can explain this 0 HP to me? Even those who were familiar with Lu Chen might not know why Lu Chen was left with 0 HP. But the people in the mountains were very clear. Dragon's blood boil would deduct 80% of the current HP. 1 point of HP was 80%. Lu Chen's HP should be 0. 2 HP. The system directly ignored it. You're really a lunatic. You're really pursuing the extreme. Only 0. 2 HP left. When it came to pursuing the extreme, that guy was really crazier than Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. Alright, at least you're not dead. Those who care about you will probably have a heart attack a few times if they watch your battle. Extreme was like this. After Dragon's blood boil, Lu Chen's damage increased by 80%. But this was not the main point. The scariest part was the combination of 3 lives reincarnation and madness. Attack increased by 1199. 2%. Attack speed increased by 1199. 2%. Skill cooldown reduced by 100%. Skill cooldown was actually reduced by 299. 8%. But the cooldown could not be overflowed. It was just a 100% reduction. In other words, there was no cooldown. With 2 skills stacked, Lu Chen was already very overpowered. But this was not the end. 3 Devil Transformation. Lu Chen tore open the human skin. The demon that had been waiting for a long time finally appeared. Overall, it was domineering, but the pair of furry fox ears and foxtail were really eye-catching. Lu Chen shook his head. Louis, I really need you. The 3 Devil Transformation was already the last transformation of the 3 Devil Transformation. After half a year of training, it finally had the chance to appear. The demon opened his bloodthirsty mouth. His green eyes overflowed uncontrollably. He smiled and looked at Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. I heard. Your HP is very good? Chapter 441. The 3 Devil Transformations increased all attacks by 1000%. Powerful demon gods would no longer be punished by heaven's punishment, but the duration was increased to 30 seconds. The cooldown was 24 hours. Perhaps Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary was right about one thing. When you had the ability to defy the heavens, you could even avoid heaven's punishment. Unfortunately, sometimes the punishment did not come from the heavens, but from humans or demons. Just like Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary, he was facing a super demon whose attack was increased by 200 times. What did 200 times mean? Lu Chen's physical attack was now 360,000. After doubling, his normal attack had reached 72 million. Unfortunately, this number was not visible to others, especially Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. He only saw Lu Chen's HP, which was so dark that it could not be any darker. You're about to die. Yet you're still so arrogant. I don't believe that I can't kill you. Lu Chen smiled. You can try. All the best. Lu Chen was actually cheering for Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. The group of people was speechless. All right, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary squinted his eyes. Then his eyes suddenly widened. Poison Master's power refresh. 7-star poison formation, star poison explosion. This guy could actually refresh the star poison explosion again. Moreover, he had forcefully activated the star poison explosion when he had lost the 7-star poison man. In an instant, the star poison explosion attacked again. With such a poison explosion, as long as it touched the solipsistic, he would definitely die. Lu Chen snorted. I think you're at your wit's end. Ghostly shadow descent. In an instant, the solipsistic disappeared from the spot. In the next second, he had appeared in an illusion beside Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. 3000 body flicker slash. After the 3000 body flicker slash was activated, it would be in an invincible state. At this moment, only this move could fight against the star poison explosion. However, one move was enough. Leaving behind an illusion, Lu Chen's figure turned into a red and golden shadow. He instantly activated 11 body flicker slashes on Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. 1 body flicker slash, along with a 5-hit combo. 11 body flicker slashes, 55 combo. Unfortunately, it was destined that he could not display all 55 combo attacks. The first attack of 55 combo, -14 000 000 50% damage reduction, 23 million shield absorption. When this number appeared, the entire galaxy shook. Countless people maintained the same expression. Their eyes were bulging, their mouths were agape, their jaws dropped to the ground, their expressions were stiff, and their brains short-circuited. Break. 10 million. Someone's lips were trembling. After a long while, he finally squeezed out the word break. Normal attack. 14 million. Motherfucker, this what kind of monster is this? No, it's not 14 million. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary's life shield absorbed 23 million, 37 million, and then 50% damage reduction. So it's 70 million. Oh my god. What kind of demon is this guy? Perhaps the only one who wasn't satisfied with this attack was Lu Chen. He had 70 million plus physical attack, but now he was only able to deal 14 million damage. That was too bad. At the same time, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary instantly recovered 5,600,000 HP. At the same time, he also received a continuous HP recovery effect. However, this was only the first attack of the 55 consecutive hits. What came next was the main event. -110 million double critical hit. -35 million. -170 million triple critical hit. -100 million double critical hit. -32 million. A series of unimaginable numbers floated out. Up to 100 million. Oh my god. Impossible. It's impossible to deal such high damage. How did he do it? Motherfucker. Oh my god. That guy is going against the heavens. The Earth player's mentality had exploded. Fuck, what kind of damage is this? Is this mad god? Can't that guy be human? He wasn't this strong the last time. What did he do in the past 6 months? Up to 100 million damage at level 2? That guy can't be described as strong anymore. He's a madman, a pervert. A boy recalled that mad god had once given him a colorful gold gem. After that, many people spoke ill of him for killing Earth players. However, in the heart of the child, he still believed that mad god was not such a person. Because of this, some of his classmates mocked him, saying that he had been kneeling for too long, saying that he did not even have a stand after receiving benefits. However, he still remembered the kind smile on Mad God's face when he threw the colorful gold gem to him. Brother Mad God, good job. I knew you wouldn't admit defeat so easily. The boy's eyes were slightly red as he watched the live broadcast. I will be like you and become the strongest. Although Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary's health points were rapidly recovering, Lu Chen's attacks were too terrifying. Health points. Under the extreme attack, it was like a joke. The only use was to let Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary take a few more hits, completely unable to save him. In less than a second, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary's health points of 500 million with full health points disappeared. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary, who was known as the strongest level 2 Sky Domain boss, who was known as an invincible super boss, had his health points disappear. Another instant kill. In the blink of an eye, Lu Chen had killed the Sky Domain boss with an instant kill. Especially the players from Earth, who had seen how Mad God killed Heavenly Demon Venerable with their own eyes. Watching this battle again, their hearts were filled with shock. What the fuck? A Sky Domain boss was instantly killed by that guy. Is there still justice? Is there still law? Lone Tyrant, Heaven Domain boss expert in insta-killing. These Heaven Domain bosses are probably going crazy right now. Do you think I don't care about my reputation anymore? I'll broadcast this live to the entire galaxy. Why can't you just fight properly? Sky Domain boss. Solipsistic, can't you afford to play with him? I used to think that Mad God wasn't that crazy, but now sorry I was wrong. I've never seen anyone more crazy than him in my life. No matter what Mad God's character is like, I have to say that this guy is worthy of the name War God. I really can't hate him. Instead, I feel so good. That man is from Earth. Mad God tortured me thousands of times, but I treated Mad God like my first love. First love is so painful. After a boss was killed, it would forcefully retain 1 HP. It was the same for Demon Supremacy Tongtian and Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. At this moment, an interesting scene had appeared. Master Spiritual Martial, who only had 1 HP remaining, had lost to Lone Tyrant, who only had 0 HP remaining. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary collapsed on the ground, spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. However, he couldn't care less about this. He only looked at the demon in front of him in fear. You, impossible. You can't defeat me. I clearly took 2 of your lives. You clearly only have a little HP left. Impossible. Lu Chen looked at Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary on the ground indifferently, and didn't say anything. There was no need to say anything now. No matter how impossible it was now in front of him. It was impossible not to believe it. Finally, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary accepted this reality, and was extremely depressed. After a long time, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary raised his head, and looked at Lu Chen. He said weakly, "So from the beginning, you deliberately let me take 2 of your lives." Lu Chen removed his demon skin. He didn't know why, but when he looked at Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary, he felt pity for him. Perhaps it was because they had something in common. Chapter 442. Lu Chen spoke. Your HP regeneration is not a problem for me. After all, you can only recover 40% of your HP instantly. It's not as high as my attack. As long as I attack quickly, you won't be able to keep up with my attacks no matter how fast your HP regeneration is. I don't have to worry about the poisonous Forbidden Land and other poison effects. I have Buddha's salvation. If necessary, I can activate it at the first life. The only thing that gives me a headache is your poison damage. If my attack is not high enough, I have to attack continuously to prevent you from recovering HP. At the same time, I'll be poisoned continuously. Every time I attack, I'll be poisoned. If I want to hit you with 500 million HP, I'll be poisoned by you with 500 million HP. My HP is obviously not enough to complete the kill. So I only have 1 chance. 1 chance to kill you instantly. This attack has to be enough to kill you instantly. At the same time, the poison damage that can kill me can be offset by my spirit pet. Considering that you might have other tricks up your sleeve, I've decided to activate Buddha's salvation at the 3rd life to kill you instantly. I'll cooperate with you at the first 2 lives. First, I'll let you lower your guard. Second, I want to see what tricks you have up your sleeve. In fact, I can dodge your attacks. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary looked at Lu Chen in shock. It turned out that before the battle began, this guy had already come up with a plan in his mind. He had already planned to kill him instantly. At that moment, The last bit of unwillingness in Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary's heart gradually dissipated after Lu Chen's explanation. This guy was scarier than he had imagined. It was not just his insane attack power. The most important thing was his calmness and steadiness. I can't believe that you can still be so calm while fighting with me. I have to admire you, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary said helplessly. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary said helplessly. So, you have already decided the outcome of this battle from the very beginning. Lu Chen looked down at Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary on the ground. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary shook his head dejectedly. I can't believe I've lost. I thought I've reached the limit. I thought I'm invincible within the second heaven. Ha 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 ha. The one who punishes me is not the heavens. It's you. It wasn't me. Lu Chen said. He opened the mission panel, and the sanctimonious mission already indicated that he could submit it. He tried tapping it, and a woman in a fluttering green dress appeared beside the two of them. Lu Yi. There was no reward for this mission. Back then, Lu Chen had casually accepted it. Of course, at that time, his understanding of Jiutian was not as deep as it was now. He had only accepted it as an ordinary mission. But now Lu Chen was no longer the same as when he was in the first heaven. Perhaps the things that happened in the 9 heavens were all true. No matter what, Lu Chen was still very happy to see Lu Yi. Beauty, your mission is complete. I'll leave this person to you. Lu Yi looked at Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary on the ground with red eyes. Fortunately, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary was on the verge of death. Lu Yi held back her grief and anger. She turned around and knelt before Lu Chen. Thank you, benefactor, Lu Yi said with a trembling voice. Lu Chen frowned and went forward to help Lu Yi up. Why are you kneeling? What era are we in? If you really want to thank me, just give me your body. Lu Yi was stunned. Give him her body. She looked at Lu Chen in surprise. It seemed like this request was more serious than kneeling down to thank him. Benefactor, I'm no longer human. I'm afraid I can't give you my body. Lu Chen laughed. Why are you so nervous? It's just a joke. There were no living people in the Ghost Valley. Humans and ghosts were different. Moreover, they were in a game. Of course, giving her body was just a joke. He did not expect Lu Yi to take it seriously. Moreover, he still had to ask Lu Yi for help later. Lu Yi heaved a sigh of relief. She turned around and looked at Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. You also have a day like this. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary looked at Lu Yi without any fear. Don't you regret it? Lu Yi stared at Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. My father treated you so well. The people in the valley treated you so well. But what did you do to them? Are you still human? Regret? Ha ha ha, no, I never regret it. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary laughed wildly. My goal is not to stay in a place like Divine Herbalist Valley forever. I want more. I want to become the strongest person. Only then can I establish myself in the third heaven. Only then can I change my fate. No, to be precise, I want to change everyone's fate. Lu Yi looked at Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary angrily. Lu Chen noticed that other than hatred in Lu Yi's eyes, there seemed to be something else. I never regret it. There's only one thing. It's a pity. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary suddenly said. I haven't reached the true limit. I don't have the chance to fight in the third heaven. Incurable. Lu Yi angrily spat out these 4 words. Ha ha ha. I've already had 10,000 poisons in my body. How can there be any medicine that can save me? Do it. Take revenge for the people in the valley. Lu Yi's eyes were filled with tears. I'll ask you one last question. Lu Chen and Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary both looked at Lu Yi. Why is there a place called Divine Herbalist Valley in the second heaven? Suddenly, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary was stunned. As a heaven domain boss, he ruled the second heaven domain. Naturally, he had the right to name a map. Behind the arena, north of the Immortal Trace Peak, there was a hidden paradise called Divine Herbalist Valley. When Lu Chen first arrived there, he was curious why it was called Divine Herbalist Valley. Lu Chen clearly remembered that there was an old man in Divine Herbalist Valley who took care of the herb fields all day. He had also obtained the little furball there. Why would such a beautiful place be called Divine Herbalist Valley? This question was like a fatal steel needle that pierced into Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary's sealed heart. Why is that place called Divine Herbalist Valley? Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary repeated Lu Yi's question, as if he was asking himself. He even became a goose slave and took care of the herb fields every day. Just like that person who treated him like his own. Master, why is it called Divine Herbalist Valley? Why is it called Divine Herbalist Valley? The steel needle repeatedly pierced Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary's heart. Finally, it defeated this madman who pursued strength by any means necessary. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary actually began to cry. Master, I don't want to kill you. Those villagers, I don't want to kill you. But if I'm not strong enough, how can I fight in the third heaven? If I'm not strong enough, how can I take revenge? Lu Yi finally heard what she wanted to hear the most. Perhaps Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary's repentance would make Lu Yi feel better than his death. Taking out the medicine cauldron, Lu Yi waved her hand, and Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary was sucked into the medicine cauldron. End it, I'll send you back to Divine Herbalist Valley. Hey, wait. Lu Chen became anxious. Big sister, you can't be reckless. Lu Yi looked at Lu Chen in astonishment. Benefactor, why are you doing this? Big sister, he's a heaven domain boss. He drops equipment. If you take it away like this, what am I going to take? Lu Chen almost collapsed. The items dropped by this guy should be at least heaven rank. Lu Chen didn't expect to get a lot of them, but at least one of them, be it equipment or martial arts. These were all his capital to explore the third layer of heaven. Benefactor, after you accept the mission, he'll become your mission boss. He won't drop any equipment. Lu Chen almost vomited blood out of the screen. This. It can't be. I've suffered a huge loss from this mission. Benefactor, I'm really sorry. I thought you knew. Lu Chen almost cried. What the hell did he know? If he knew earlier, he would not have accepted this mission. Furthermore, he did not know that Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary was a heaven domain boss in the second heaven. Moreover, it was a heaven domain boss in the purgatory difficulty. Fuck. Benefactor, don't be anxious. My wish has already been fulfilled. If Benefactor doesn't mind, E is willing to follow Benefactor. Lu Chen, who was on the verge of collapse, suddenly recovered. Lu Yi followed him. That also means that the medicine cauldron also followed him. Chapter 443. Although it was a pity that the boss did not drop any equipment, if Lu Yi was willing to follow him, it seemed to be more helpful to Lu Chen than a heaven-grade weapon or skill. Xiao Min was only a purple-grade ghost pet, but she had always been Lu Chen's most important partner. Lu Yi should not be weaker than Xiao Min. After accepting Lu Yi, a system notification popped up. Congratulations on obtaining Celestial Grade Ghost Pet Lu Yi. Celestial Grade. This. Lu Chen's eyes widened in shock. Lu Yi was so strong. But thinking about it, it was indeed very difficult to obtain LVE. She appeared in the first layer of Heaven's legendary hidden mission, Divine Blood Demon Seed. The condition to enter the Ghost Valley was that one's yang qi must be strong enough. In other words, there could not be a death record. After that, Lu Yi requested to complete the Sanctimonious quest. This quest had almost no rewards, so players might not even be willing to accept it. Even if they accepted it, they still had to kill the Heaven Domain boss at level 2 Purgatory to complete the Sanctimonious quest. Lu Yi's quest was a quest that extended from level 1 to level 2. It was very difficult, and was definitely the most difficult quest that Lu Chen had completed so far. Moreover, killing Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary would normally drop equipment. How could there be no reward for completing such a difficult quest? Lu Chen was now sure that killing Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary was not without a reward, but the reward had been upgraded. However, when he fought with Lu Yi was not very strong. How did she suddenly become a celestial grade ghost pet? Lu Chen hurriedly checked on Lu Yi's situation. Ghost pet Lu Yi, legendary. Unique. Level 50. Profession. Medicine, poison, and goo cultivation apothecary. Profession potential rating. Medicine. 1 in 10,000 celestial grade. Poison. 1 in 10,000 celestial grade. Goo technique. Once in a century legendary level. Portable Dharma treasure. Primordial chaos medicine cauldron level 1. Increases pill refinement success rate by 30%. Reduces material consumption by 30%. 10% chance of twin pills. 5% chance of triple pills. Special effect, bloodline fusion. Every time the primordial chaos medicine cauldron levels up, it will obtain the ability to fuse bloodlines once. Although this was Lu Chen's first time seeing the potential rating, he still understood the remarks at the back. Damn. So the reason why Lu Yi is an immortal is because of her potential. Lu Chen came to a realization. This fellow's growth potential was huge. 2 of the medical poison goo's attributes had reached immortal grade, and 1 was at legendary grade. Having the potential to reach the immortal level didn't mean that one could only grow to the immortal level. Immortal level cultivation techniques could only be immortal level cultivation techniques. However, having the potential to reach the immortal level could only mean that her growth speed was faster than others. She could definitely reach a higher realm. Lu Chen had reason to believe that with Lu Yi's potential, it was very likely that she would surpass Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. However, she had been killed by the Spiritual Martial Apothecary and could only exist in the form of a ghost. Geniuses might not be able to reach the end. Lu Chen couldn't help but think about the potential of his battle pets. Unfortunately, when he glanced at the Chaos panel, that fellow's panel didn't have a potential rating. Maybe the potential rating system will be officially opened for rank 3 geniuses. Lu Yi only had a white attribute robe on her, and it had 3 skills. Eternal Vitality, Man Luo Heavenly Certificate, and Mad Demon Goo, 1 for each of the 3 branches. Little Green, why do you only have 3 skills? The last time I fought with you, you had more than these. Lu Yi slightly bowed. Benefactor, after becoming your ghost pet, I have to give up many things. I can only keep 3 skills. If you feel that they are not enough, you can let me learn more cultivation techniques, or wear equipment with special effects. Lu Chen nodded and sighed. No wonder ghost pets weren't so easy to obtain. They were often the only ones. They also needed to be determined to awaken. Then I'll have to trouble you. Not at all. Yi has no regrets. I am willing to follow Benefactor. Don't call me Benefactor. Just call me boss like Xiaomin Benefactor, it sounds weird. Lu Chen smiled. Xiaomin, you have a partner now. Xiaomin, come out, this is your big sister Little Green. A cute little girl appeared beside Lu Chen, tilting her head and saying sweetly, Big sister Little Green. Congratulations on successfully killing the rank 2 Heavenly Domain boss. The rank 3 Heavenly Domain has been opened to you. In addition, you have obtained the ability to blink in the entire map of the rank 2 Heavenly Domain. Please note, after entering the rank 3 Heavenly Domain, you cannot return to the rank 2 Heavenly Domain without the Mortal Pass. The Mortal Pass requires you to enter the rank 3 Heavenly Domain to obtain it. Galaxy District 19. The only Purgatory boss has been refined. The Heavenly Domain boss will be upgraded to Hell Mode boss. Lu Chen blinked. The difficulty is down. Not bad. I was just saying that if there was another spiritual herbalist, it would be difficult for others to pass. Lu Chen breathed a sigh of relief. Who asked him to create the Purgatory level? He had to take some responsibility. The rank 3 Heavenly Domain was quite different from the rank 2 Heavenly Domain. Did they still need the Mortal Pass to return? Actually, this was also expected. There were so many people in the rank 3 Heavenly Domain. If they casually entered the rank 2 Heavenly Domain, it would be unimaginable for the rank 2 Heavenly Domain players. There were almost no rank 3 Heavenly Domain players in the rank 2 Heavenly Domain. As for the Mortal Pass, although Lu Chen had never heard of it, he had a reference. He could roughly guess the difficulty of obtaining it. Back then, Hunter Emperor went to find his master. If it was really possible to descend, his master would have come long ago, but he only came 2 months later. It was obvious that the mortal pass was not that easy to obtain. He looked back at the dungeon entrance. Was there anything worth staying in the rank 2 heavenly domain? Could the players from Earth, especially his friends, walk out on their own? And the people he knew in the rank 2 heavenly domain, would he see them in the rank 3 heavenly domain? Boss, do you want to stay for a while? Xiaomin pulled Lu Chen's sleeve. You should be worried about your friends, right? Lu Chen took a deep breath. His gaze seemed to be able to pass through the dungeon. No, we'll go straight to the rank 3 heavenly domain. That's right, there were still things he was reluctant to leave. But he had to move forward. All the way forward. They will take care of themselves. After saying that, Lu Chen led Xiaomin and Lu Yi to the next floor of the Tower of Babel. Lu Chen had no idea what the other side of the black hole was like at the entrance. He only knew that many people told him that the rank 3 heavenly domain was definitely not what he thought it was. Normally, he would think that the rank 3 heavenly domain was a larger area, and the difficulty would be higher. But since Qin Sheng and the people in the mountains reminded him, the rank 3 heavenly domain was definitely not that simple. Xiaomin possess. Little Green come back first. After putting away Xiaomin and Little Green, Lu Chen took a deep breath. The corner of his mouth raised slightly. Was the rank 3 heavenly domain more terrifying than he thought? Very good. This was more interesting. Old Mu Xian, I'm here to save you. After saying that, Lu Chen stepped into the entrance of the rank 3 heavenly domain. Chapter 444. After a brief moment of dizziness, accompanied by a white light, Lu Chen opened his eyes and found that he was born in a dilapidated village. There were a few dilapidated mud houses scattered around. The mud houses were dilapidated and could even be described as broken bricks and tiles. The houses were crooked, as if they were about to collapse. However, although these houses were dilapidated, there was a proper line of defense at the entrance of the village. A large number of boulders were piled up, forming a stone mountain that was 30 to 40 meters high, blocking the entrance of the village. No way, this is the third layer of heaven? Lu Chen couldn't believe his eyes. There were a few players around him with luxurious equipment. The worst equipment on them was probably dark gold. There was no lack of colorful light flowing around their bodies. That was the special effect of dazzling gold equipment. However, these people were all dejected and looked exhausted. When they saw Lu Chen, they acted as if they did not see him, and walked past with their heads lowered. Lu Chen blinked his eyes. This scene was completely different from what he had imagined. When he first arrived at level 2, although everyone was a newbie, they were all arrogant and thought that they were extraordinary. The village was also full of people. However, when he entered level 3, it gave him an especially oppressive feeling. There were no more than 10 people in the entire village who could see him. There was no sense of one side being the strongest from their faces. You have entered level 3. Some of your system settings will now be forcefully modified. Pain system. All pain senses will be forcibly turned on permanently. Limb refinement system. After the body is injured, it will no longer automatically recover. It will require rest or pills to repair. Permanent injuries must be healed with pills. At the same time, injuries will affect various attributes. Specific injuries will cause some skills to be unusable. Online system changes. After the player goes offline, the character will no longer disappear. Instead, it will stay in the game and will take all normal damage. Please note the location and time of going offline to ensure that the character will not be injured during the time of going offline. Attribute extraction. Activating the attribute extraction function. The attributes you extract will affect the body's attributes in the real world through quantum entanglement technology. Level 3 has a limit of 100 for a single attribute. Increasing innate power can increase the limit. Lu Chen was really shocked this time. It did not matter to him that the pain senses were turned on. After all, he was already used to it. Limb refinement had already been reflected in some games, especially some Wuxia games. Therefore, it was nothing new. The most important point was the last point, attribute extraction. The 9 Heavens domain finally revealed its true colors in the Earth 3 Heavens domain. Oh my god, it's true. Lu Chen's brain short-circuited. Although he had been prepared for this result, it was still enough to shock him when the system confirmed it. For thousands of years, people had been pursuing supernatural abilities. But now in the Jiutian, they had realized it. When this news was announced, there was no doubt that people would crazily rush to the third heavenly realm. This game had gone beyond the scope of a game. It was bound to change the fate of the entire Earth. Where can I extract my attributes? Lu Chen couldn't wait to try out this function. The system ignored Lu Chen's urgency and continued to send out notifications. Your military merit system has been activated. You have obtained more military merits. You can now exchange them for items such as extractable attribute points, temporary lower realm pass, cultivation methods, battle pets, equipment, resources, military ranks, and other items from the quartermaster. Lu Chen found that there was an additional button on his control panel, Military Merit. He clicked on it. Character. Money can reach the heavens, Demon Lord's Eye, Tiger Courage and Dragon Might, Dark Moon Vanguard, Top Rank, Tiger Capture, Blood Pool Vanguard, Elite, Especially Strong, Especially Agile, Especially Muscular Knoll Leader, First Transformation Demonized Boss, Black Barton. Character, Solipsistic, Military Merit, 0, Military Rank Militia, Authorization, can exchange for items once every 10 days at the quartermaster. What the hell? Lu Chen shook his head. He didn't know why this military merit system appeared. From the moment Lu Chen appeared until now, he had been standing there in a daze for a few minutes. Most of the people around him glanced at Lu Chen and ignored him. It was as if they were used to newcomers acting like this. Lu Chen stood there like a wooden stake for a long time. Finally, after receiving the system's information, he felt as if he had regained his freedom and could move again. Hey newcomer! A middle-aged man shouted from afar. Lu Chen looked up in surprise. It was a big man with a beard. He was wearing a set of gray and white clothes. His body was at least twice as strong as the people on Earth. His muscles were strong. Lu Chen guessed that if he stood up, he would be more than 2 meters. Beside him was a pile of bronze hammers that were faintly glowing. Dazzling gold weapon. His ID was Militia Captain, Mountain Strength. Are you calling me? Nonsense, are there any newcomers here other than you? The man spoke as if he was very casual. Lu Chen looked around. Indeed, there hadn't been any newcomers for a long time. Coincidentally, Lu Chen also had a lot of questions, so he walked over. Have you finished receiving the system's notifications? Mountain Strength sat on a wooden stool. It really made people worry that the small wooden stool wouldn't be able to bear his well-built body and would sink into his anus. Look at your dazed appearance. You're not from a family or power, right? Lu Chen blinked his eyes. I'm not. That's true. Those people from big families wouldn't be assigned to a small place like ours. Lu Chen frowned. Aren't the teams that go through the second heaven together? Of course not, the third heaven is randomly born. However, some people in the third heaven will spend military merits to let their own people be born in their own area. Lu Chen nodded. The third heaven was indeed different. Since you've been assigned to me, you'll be my soldier from now on. Don't worry, your brother Shan will protect you. We can't compare to the big powers, but I won't let my people be bullied outside. Although Mountain Strength's words were a bit rough, he seemed to be a straightforward person. Kid, even if you hide your ID, at least let me know what you're called, Brother Shan said. Wuxia nameless, Lu Chen replied. There are many people in the third heaven who like to be called nameless. However, you're Wuxia nameless. Wuxia should be your hometown, right? I'll remember this name. Hey, Wuxia kid, what don't you understand? I'll give you 2 questions. I can only ask 2 questions. Lu Chen had a stomach full of questions. Alright, I've already used the first question. Let me tell you why I only have 2 questions. It's because there's still half an hour before those guys attack us. I don't have much time to talk nonsense with you. Mountain Strength's face flashed with a trace of decadence. I don't know if we can still hold them off this time. Damn it. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. A fight was about to break out. Was the third heaven really that strong? After wasting a stupid question, Lu Chen didn't want to waste another chance. After weighing the pros and cons, Lu Chen asked, Brother Shan, how do I earn military merits? Military merits? It's very simple. Just kill the enemy. The enemy? Who is it? Mountain Strength smiled. This is the third question. Forget it. Looking at how silly you are. I'll give this question to you. You still don't know the third heaven. Humans have already been defeated. Chapter 445. Lu Chen did not know how to react for a moment. Did Brother Shan use too much free software and watch a lot of advertisements? He actually knew this common phrase. After answering Lu Chen's 3 questions, Brother Shan stood up. This guy was about 34 meters tall like a giant. He patted Lu Chen's shoulder. Follow me when the battle starts. Those guys are not easy to deal with. Don't underestimate them. They are like you. They have also defeated stage 2 bosses. Sigh. The human body is too weak in Jiotian. Lu Chen nodded blankly. He still did not understand the situation, so he decided to follow Brother Shan for the time being. There was less than half an hour before the attack, so Brother Shan gathered the players. Including Lu Chen, there were only 12 people. Brother Shan said briefly to everyone, Brothers, I know you are all very tired, but this is our last stronghold. If we lose this place, we will be homeless, so we must defend this place. The tired people nodded, as if they had no objections to this point. All right, let's split into 2 teams. Sansheng, you will be in charge of one team, and I will be in charge of the other. Everyone, rest for another 20 minutes. After 10 minutes, we will enter battle mode. After Pulling Mountain finished speaking, he suddenly thought of something and added, Oh right. Everyone knows that there is a newcomer here. Wuxia Nameless. From now on, we will call him Nameless. Newcomers usually have to go through a period of confusion, so please take care of him later. Alright everyone, hurry up. Time Realm. Lu Chen didn't even have time to introduce himself. After dispersing, some people came up to him. Hey Nameless, what's your profession? A skinny man asked. Lu Chen thought for a moment. Archer. Archer. That's good. Later, you will hide behind and shoot arrows. Remember, do not rush blindly. Once they get close to you, immediately return to the defensive circle. In their eyes, we are not living creatures at all. They are very cruel. It turned out that those piles of rocks were actually a kind of array formation. Lu Chen looked back and found that if he looked carefully, there were indeed a few huge rocks that were placed in a very particular position. Lu Chen glanced at the skinny guy. His ID was Militia Cutthroat, and he used 2 shiny gold daggers. Brother Monkey, are you a Grandmaster of Combat? Lu Chen directly called him Brother Monkey. Me. That's right, I'm a pugilist, but to be precise, I'm an assassin, under the pugilist branch. Oh, there's no assassin in the second heaven. I need to change my class rune at the Quartermaster. Monkey King was also quite enthusiastic. Since they were all pugilists, he was willing to take care of Lu Chen. He looked at Lu Chen. Hey, you archers also have 2 branches. One is called Gadi. Their attack, critical hit, and shooting speed are quite strong. The other is called Assassin. They changed from bows and arrows to hidden weapons. That class is very annoying. Lu Chen blinked his eyes. The third heavenly layer was even more detailed. Oh right. Let me introduce you to everyone's classes. Brother Shan is also a pugilist. He's another branch called Heavy Shield. He's our number 1 tank here. It's safer for you to follow behind him. Third Saint is a Talisman Array Master. He's a dual Talisman Array Master. The village's defensive circle was set up by him. Usually, he'll give us buffs. He can also use arrays and talismans to attack from behind. He's very powerful. The one in white over there, always with a sour face. He's called Chasing Cloud. He's a sword rider. His attack is very strong. Mainyang. She's the woman who's been flirting behind Brother Shan. She's a 5th string puppet master, and can control 5 puppets at the same time. She's a big boss here, and she's very interested in Brother Shan. Monkey King winked at Lu Chen with a, you know what I mean look. Other than that, there was also Monk Ice Bear, Ice Prophet Frost Dance, Beast Tamer Ching He, Dwarf Firearms Master Big Beard, and the 2 pharmacists, the 2 brothers Heartless and Ju Ming. Lu Chen remembered everyone's class. Although there were only 12 people in this small team, the class was quite complete. There were tankers, attackers, support, healers, assassins, and archers. However, among these people, only Bullish Mountain was the militia captain. The rest of them were all militia. Monkey King, is it hard to get military achievements? You guys haven't been promoted. Monkey King shook his head helplessly and sighed. How can it be so easy to promote a military rank? You have to know that those guys you're facing are no longer wild monsters. They're also super strong in their world. The physique of humans is weak, so they're naturally at a disadvantage. Did you know? It's said that in the past, their second heaven was at purgatory difficulty. Think about it. How can they be weak if they can pass the second heaven of purgatory difficulty? If we didn't have a defensive formation, we wouldn't be able to protect this place. Lu Chen frowned slightly. Almost all of their enemies had cleared the second firmament of the purgatory level. Although Lu Chen was fighting Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary alone, he had to admit that an opponent at Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary's level was not something an ordinary person could defeat. Monkey King, Brother Shan said that humans have been defeated. What's going on? What do you mean what's going on? Isn't it just the literal meaning? Monkey King sat at the side and shook his head. There are a lot of foreign races in the third heaven. Humans are just the weakest among them, relying on the support of some major human forces. Although we haven't been exterminated, we're already in a precarious situation. Let me put it this way. The third heaven has unimaginable resources, secret realms, and opportunities. However, it's almost impossible for us to obtain them. Lu Chen's eyes suddenly lit up. A lot of resources and opportunities? These were his favorite. Why is it impossible for us to obtain them? Monkey King explained. It's not that we can't obtain them at all. It's just that the distribution is too little. Let me put it this way. The territory controlled by humans only occupies 1/10,000th of the third heaven. Some powerful forces can snatch a little, but it's very limited. What? 1/10,000th? That's too little. Lu Chen was shocked. In that case, humans were almost squeezed out of the third heaven. You still think it's too little? We're almost unable to hold on. It's said that the outside world has endless mountains and oceans. In some caves, there might be an immortal level skill book or immortal level equipment. Wild Boss will definitely drop immortal level items. I really want to go out and take a look. These opportunities can only be encountered by powerful races. They can also use these opportunities to become stronger and stronger. They're in a virtuous cycle. As for us, we're hovering on the edge of survival. Lu Chen finally understood the meaning of mountain pulling strength. From the looks of it, humans had indeed been defeated. At this moment, a little fox jumped down from the pile of rocks. It scuttled in front of beast tamer Qing He and chirped a few words. Qing He immediately shouted to everyone, "They're here. Prepare for battle." Chapter 446. Wuxia brat, come here. Pulling Mountain shouted at Lu Chen. Everyone grab your weapons, quick. The enemy had come more suddenly than they had imagined. Everyone quickly entered a state of combat readiness and climbed up the mountain. Long-range fighters, stay here and attack. Close-range fighters, follow me. Before leaving, Pulling Mountain instructed Lu Chen. Do not leave the defensive formation under any circumstances. Lu Chen nodded. He was also a little nervous. Because of the atmosphere and the expressions of the others, he couldn't help but feel nervous. This was the first time he had stood at such a high place and looked down at the world in front of him. The forest stretched as far as the eye could see. There was a small path outside the village that extended into the forest for a short distance before turning into the other side of the mountain. Was this the third layer of heaven? Speaking of which, were there monsters in the forest? However, according to Brother Mountain and Brother Monkey's words, even if there were, it wouldn't be his turn to fight. If he acted rashly, he might become the focus of the enemy's fire. Should he seek refuge with a big power? Lu Chen had 2 tokens in his hands. One was the VIP token, given to him by Qin Sheng, and the other was the guest token given to him by Old Ma. If he was willing to go, no matter which one it was, It wouldn't be difficult to find a place to stay. However, Lu Chen still decided not to look for them. Whether it was the VIP token or the guest token, Lu Chen didn't like it. As it was his first time in the third layer of heaven, Lu Chen decided to mix around with Pulling Mountain's team and understand the environment first. A few long-range fighters stayed on the high wall, while the others rushed down with Pulling Mountain. On Lu Chen's left was Chasing Cloud, who always had a sour expression on his face, and on his right was the prophet Frost Dance. Both of them wielded dazzling gold weapons. Chasing Cloud wielded a set of 3 swords, while Frost Dance wielded a staff. Lu Chen also took out his weapon, the Abyss Dragon Crystal Bow. Chasing Cloud glanced at Lu Chen's black longbow. At least this brat's weapon was also a dazzling gold weapon. It was not bad. Kid, stand further away. Don't affect me. Chasing Cloud said coldly. Lu Chen frowned and glanced at Jue Yun. Just as he was about to say something, Shuang Wu suddenly tugged at Lu Chen. Don't mind her. Jue Yun has a bad temper. She's actually not bad. Just come over to my side. Lu Chen nodded and smiled. All right. You're an archer. I can give you a buff. Frost Dance raised her hand and gave Lu Chen a buff. Frost Arrow. The arrow deals additional frost damage and has a 10% chance of freezing the enemy. Lu Chen looked at it and said, Wow, this buff is good. Thank you, beautiful. Frost Dance smiled. You're welcome. We'll all be comrades in the future, and we'll be together for a long time. At this moment, a sudden tremor came from the pile of rocks, and stones fell from time to time. Third Saint reminded in a deep voice, They're here. And they're from the Yao Beast clan. Judging from the tremors, the situation might not be good. The tremors are huge, and there might be strong enemies coming. Everyone be careful. At the same time, the close combat team members below were even more nervous. Everyone stared at the corner of the village entrance. Not long after, at the corner, at a height of 40 to 50 meters, an extremely thick arm suddenly appeared. Immediately after, a huge creature appeared from the corner. Looking at this boss, Lu Chen could not help but take a deep breath. This guy was a white yeti with a height of 60 to 70 meters. Its entire body was covered in snow-white fur. Its arms extended past its knees, and its eyes were filled with ferocity. Behind it, there were more than 10 Yao beasts that were 10 to 20 meters tall. There were snow apes, earth apes, fire apes, and a few snow wolves. Was this the Yao Beast clan? Lu Chen frowned. This was clearly a boss. Compared to this creature, it wasn't hard to imagine how low the attributes of humans were. In front of such a strong enemy, it was no wonder that those super experts that had passed the second celestial stage would be beaten to such a state. Not good. The largest one is a captain-level expert. Chasing Cloud stared intently at the largest snow ape, his expression abnormally solemn. Damn it, I don't know if we can hold on this time. Lu Chen couldn't react. A captain-level boss? Was it a boss or a player? From what Ba Shan and the others said, it should be a player of another race. However, Lu Chen felt that this guy was a boss. Speaking of which, Lu Chen suddenly felt the same feeling that players had when they saw his wild monster form. Was that guy a player? A wild monster? A player? Fuck, as expected. Sooner or later you'll have to pay for what you did. He also had times when he was mentally unstable. Speaking of which, if I use my wild monster form, I don't know if I can sneak in. Lu Chen was obviously not in the right state. In Frost Dance's eyes, his reaction was seen as too nervous. She hurriedly called out to Lu Chen. Hey Wuxia nameless. Don't be affected by Chasing Cloud. You have to believe in everyone. We can definitely hold on. If we feel that we're going to lose, then there's even less hope. Lu Chen came back to his senses and smiled at Frost Dance. Thank you. Okay, I understand. The close combat team didn't dare to be too far away from the defensive formation. Firstly, if they couldn't hold on, they could temporarily retreat to the defensive formation. Secondly, the ranged attackers and healers were on the wall. Their mission was not to take the initiative to attack, but to block the enemy's attack. There were about a dozen Yao beasts on the other side. However, their bodies were too large, so they looked very powerful. Roar! The captain-level snow ape roared and let out a shocking roar. Are you hungry? Tear them apart and charge. The other Yao beasts immediately followed, and let out a long roar before fiercely pouncing over. Bashan frowned and angrily roared. How arrogant! Mysterious gold immortal body. Vajra battle god possession. Pulling Mountain's body suddenly exploded with a ring of energy. His body glowed brightly, increasing his HP and defense buffs. Immediately after, the image of a heavily armored war god appeared behind him. This was probably the effect of the Vajra war god's possession. His attributes and defense increased again. At the same time, the others in the team were also increasing Mountain Strength's buffs. Ice Robe possession. Frost Dance gave Mountain Strength's cutthroat. Lady Charm's 2 meat shield puppets, and Qinghe's close combat gilded black tortoise added ice armor. Iron armor formation. Impregnable defense formation. 3 saints added 2 more buffs. His formation had a group effect, so the close combat players could enjoy it. To be honest, this was the first time Lu Chen had participated in such a team leader. He had to admit that after such a degree of continuous stacking, Mountain Strength became very tanky. It was also at this moment that the close combat players of the 2 armies collided, and the team battle officially began. Everyone was crazily attacking or healing. Lu Chen also aimed at a snow wolf. He was very clear about the wolf clan's innate skill, which was a critical hit. He didn't know if these wolf clan demonic beasts had such an innate skill as players. No matter what, the snow wolf's attack was still stronger than the apes. Killing it first was the right thing to do, but the moment before the arrow was shot, the Eye of the Gods suddenly gave a warning. The warning range included the entire stone wall. The others didn't seem to notice this skill, and were still attacking with all their might. This is... Lu Chen frowned. No, the enemy isn't just this few people. Someone is ambushing us. Lu Chen quickly held his breath and focused. If the opponent attacked, then he would use his strongest bow, or the triple gate to try and block the attack. However, for a full 10 seconds, the warning was still there, but the attack still didn't come. Hiss. The preparation time is so long. Lu Chen's eyes widened. In a place like the third heaven, a skill with a preparation time of more than 10 seconds was definitely not a simple skill. The triple gate, and the strongest bow might not be able to block it. All ranged players, someone is ambushing us. Get out of the way. Lu Chen suddenly roared. Several people on the wall looked at Lu Chen in surprise. Are you crazy? How could we not know if someone is ambushing us? Don't disturb the battlefield. Without our damage output, we won't be able to hold on. There's a defensive formation here. Don't panic. Continue to attack. Lu Chen was really anxious. These people didn't listen to him. Chapter 447. The enemy obviously knew that there was a defensive formation here, and this ultimate move of theirs was obviously meant to deal with the defensive formation. It was very likely that both the people and the formation would be destroyed. However, Lu Chen had just arrived, and no one believed his words at all. Lu Chen glanced at Frost Dance. She was still chanting some kind of ice-type spell. As an ice-type prophet, she was extremely important to control the situation. She couldn't be distracted for even a moment. On the other side, Chasing Cloud's eyebrows were tightly knitted. He kept using the sword manipulation technique to attack crazily. This guy's attack was quite strong, and his moves were very damaging. He and the firearm master Big Beard were the most important main damage dealers in the team. The Heartless and Heartless brothers were healing nonstop. The 3 saints used talismans and formations. As they attacked, they gave buffs to their own side and negative statuses to the other side. Qinghe and Mei Yang were the 2 most tired people. Qinghe was shooting with his bow and arrow, and at the same time, commanding 2 battle pets to fight. Mei Yang couldn't be distracted for even a moment when she was controlling the 5 lines. In the team, there were only 3 people who were really close combatants: Mountain Picking Strength, Throat Cutting, and Ice Bear. Other than that, there were 2 puppets and a black tortoise. The team's most important damage dealers, healers, and supports were almost all on top of the stone wall. Since his teammates weren't willing to listen to him, Lu Chen could only use force. Change the attack mode to full attack. The damage ratio was adjusted to the lowest 1%. Universal annihilation sky shaking. Lu Chen stepped on the stone wall. Fortunately, his damage ratio was adjusted very low. The stone wall wasn't destroyed, and these guys were all knocked into the air by Lu Chen. Damn kid, what are you doing? What's going on? Kid, are you crazy? You'll die without a healer down there. This guy is a traitor. Counterattack recoil shot. The bearded man turned his gun and shot at Lu Chen. Golden Growler, kill him. Qing He quickly controlled another battle pet to attack Lu Chen. Ice drill. Frost Dance could still forcefully use a skill when she was in the air. Her whole body was frozen, and she fell rapidly. You want to kill me? You're too early. Blade Storm. Chasing clouds, 3 flying swords rapidly shot towards Lu Chen. It had to be said that these guys were very strong. While they were in the air, many of them could still make counterattacks. These skills were probably used specifically to deal with people in the air. Lu Chen was also depressed. He didn't expect this group of people to be so difficult to deal with. This increased the difficulty of his rescue. Universal annihilation, back attack. Lu Chen dodged the attack and appeared behind Big Beard in the blink of an eye. With one blow, he knocked Big Beard out of the warning range. Heaven and Earth annihilation, Earth Fisher. Back attack. The next target was Heartless Brother. Heaven and Earth annihilation, Heaven's Fall. Back attack. Meng Yang and Qing He were also sent flying. Heaven and Earth annihilation had an outstanding knockback effect, instantly killing 5 players. Unfortunately, Lu Chen could not use Heaven and Earth annihilation's final move. The damage it dealt was too high. Lightless Heavenly Flame Pillar. A Heavenly Flame Pillar suddenly appeared beneath Chasing Cloud's feet. Caught off guard, Chasing Cloud was momentarily stunned. Lu Chen appeared behind him with Night Flash, kicked his butt and took care of another one. The most difficult one to deal with now was Frost Dance. She had already landed and could move freely. She had to be subdued in an instant. At this moment, Frost Dance took the lead. Frost Spell, Extreme Frost. The air around Lu Chen began to freeze. Lu Chen found that there was an additional debuff on his body. His attacks were continuously slowed, and some of his movement skills were imprisoned. At this moment, the enemy's big move that had been charging for a long time finally came. Lightning Pool. Countless lightning bolts instantly appeared in the sky, mercilessly bombarding the stone wall. Hundreds of lightning bolts connected into one, and thick lightning bolts continued to attack. Third Saint suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. His defense array was instantly broken, and the stone wall instantly turned into ashes. The people who were knocked to the top of the wall by Lu Chen were shocked. This is a lightning-type heaven-level cultivation technique. It's the most unsolvable lightning type. That kid is really saving us. Not good. That kid and Frost Dance are still inside. Finally someone reacted. Third Saint's bloody eyes widened. His arms drew the 8 trigrams, and he forcefully activated his technique. Heaven Patching Array. However, halfway through the technique, Third Saint spat out a mouthful of blood. Third Saint. Damn it, the defense array is broken. He is too injured, and the Heaven Patching Array can't be activated. Absolute Life hurriedly supported Third Saint and healed him. No, Third Saint's spiritual core is damaged. It will take time to recover. At this moment, a stone door suddenly appeared beside everyone, and a figure rushed out from the stone door. Lu Chen walked out with the heavily injured Frost Dance in his arms. At this time, Lu Chen's HP had been reduced by more than half. He had nearly 10 million HP, and only 2 million was left. Frost Dance's situation was even worse. Her HP bar was empty. The damage of this lightning pool was too fierce. Sure enough, this kind of long-channeled skill, once it was used, the damage would be off the charts. Frost Dance. Meng Yang hurriedly took Frost Dance. Absolute Life, quickly take a look at Frost Dance. Lu Chen panted and said, she won't die. Xiaomin, come out. Beside Frost Dance, a pretty little girl appeared. It was Lu Chen's ghost pet. Xiaomin. Lu Chen estimated that Frost Dance couldn't withstand the lightning pool. At the critical moment, he let Xiaomin possess Frost Dance. Only then was she able to withstand the fatal attack. Please help me take care of Xiao Min. She has activated her death immunity skill, and is very weak now. Frost Dance really didn't die, but she was too weak. She opened her eyes with difficulty. I'm sorry, This sentence was actually what everyone wanted to say to Lu Chen. The ranged players didn't have much HP. If everyone was in the range of the lightning pool just now, the result would be a complete wipeout. It was this newcomer who gave the warning in advance, but none of them listened. He was clearly saving them, but they all threw all kinds of skills at him. Lu Chen smiled. It's okay. Help me take care of Xiao Min. I'll go help Brother Mountain and the others. The ranged players all retreated from the attack range. The melee players were under pressure. Moreover, the enemy's strength wasn't as much as it seemed. Without further ado, Lu Chen opened his demon wings. A triple door passed through the lightning pool and floated in the air. Looking down, Main Yang's two puppets were no longer controlled and were already paralyzed. Mountain Strength, Frost Bear, Monkey Brother, and Black Tortoise were indeed in a desperate situation. The melee battle was even more shocking. In just a short time after losing the healer, the three people and one beast were covered in blood. Frost Bear's right leg was heavily injured and was unable to move. He was torn apart by several wild beasts and could only resist with all his might. Slit Throat was more agile, but it was also restricted by the enemy's back line. After a mistake, it was attacked several times, and its HP dropped rapidly. Mountain Strength was in the most dangerous situation. He was fighting against the militia captain and a group of snow wolves. Although his HP didn't drop much, it dropped very quickly. Hurry up and run! Mountain Strength roared. Otherwise we'll all die. The enemy has strong players. We can't hold them off. Let Third Saint and the others run. Hurry! Mountain Strength used AoE taunt. Captain! Slit Throat's bloody eyes widened as it stabbed at the snow ape. If we're leaving together. Frost Bear continued to use AoE defense. Buddha's armor. If we live together. If we die together. You want to leave? In your dreams. None of you can leave today. The snow ape roared. Chapter 448. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes. His luck was pretty good this time, as he had encountered Pulling Mountain's team. Although they were weak, they were much stronger than those big powers that schemed against each other. Just as the three people and one beast were about to be surrounded, Pulling Mountain suddenly realized that someone was healing him. He turned around and saw that the stone wall was still covered in thunderclouds and lightning. But then, he saw a large number of black dots flickering in the air. Whoosh! 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 A large number of black arrows instantly covered the battlefield. -130,000 double critical hit. -120,000 double critical hit. -190,000 triple critical hit. -260,000 quadruple critical hit. In an instant, a rain of arrows covered the entire battlefield, but Pulling Mountain's team was unscathed. The surrounding beasts suffered horrifying damage. Their health bars plummeted, and a large number of beasts were even frozen. Lu Chen's surpassing shot didn't deal all the damage, because he knew that there was another guy hiding behind this group of beasts. Once he dealt full damage, that guy might not appear. If he left that scourge alive, he might not even be able to sleep soundly. The third heaven's logout mechanism had changed. Players could not log off when they logged off. Lu Chen could not help but think about it. Frost Arrow. Pulling Mountain was very familiar with his team's skills. This was Frost Dance's skill. Qinghe's bow could often deal a freezing effect. It's Wuxia. Cutthroat saw the figure in the air. Beside him stood a girl in green. Although Lu Chen's attack was not high, his shooting speed was extremely fast. A large number of arrows hit, and the surrounding beasts were all frozen. Lu Chen frowned slightly. That guy still hasn't come out. His attention was still on the guy who had activated the lightning pool. Unfortunately, there was no movement around him at all. Damn it, he's even more wretched than me. Lu Chen gritted his teeth. Little Green's level was too low. His healing effect was effective, but the close combat team was still in danger. No, I have to preserve my strength. If I don't deal with that guy in the dark, There will be endless trouble. Thinking of this, Lu Chen shouted to the close combat team, Brother Shan, Brother Monkey, Brother Bear, retreat. The trio also knew that if this continued, it would be difficult for them to win. Using the time that Lu Chen had bought, they quickly retreated with the gilded black tortoise and the 2 puppets. At night, the 12 members of the mountain picking team, in addition to the 2 beasts and 5 puppets, had already been on the run for a few hours. They had already gone deep into the mountains. Deep in the mountains, the team hid in a cave. They blocked the entrance and stopped to rest for the time being. Everyone sat around the bonfire. The flickering light of the flames shone on everyone's faces. Everyone looked even more exhausted and disappointed. Although they managed to escape, they still lost their stronghold. Sigh, pulling Mountain sighed, but it affected his wound again. Brother Shan, you're too heavy. I still have some regeneration pills here. Mainyang handed over 3 pills. She gave 1 to Libation, 1 to Cut Throat, and 1 to Ice Bear. The injuries on Pulling Mountain and the others' bodies could not be healed by healing. They had to rely on pills. Pulling Mountain looked at Mainyang and the others. The others might have given them pills in the past. These were all exchanged with your military merits. What are you talking about? We're all in the same boat. Without you, we wouldn't be able to survive. That's right. Hurry up and eat. Rest well first. Without our stronghold, we might encounter more danger. Everyone needs to be in good condition. Lu Chen looked at the team's situation and had a general understanding of the team's financial situation. It seemed that the team's resources were already exhausted. I didn't expect that there would be such an expert in their team. He broke our defensive array with just a lightning pool. Third Saint sighed. Sigh, we were too careless. Speaking of the battle during the day, Frost Dance looked at Lu Chen again. Nameless, this time it's all thanks to you. If it weren't for you, we would definitely have died there. Lu Chen smiled slightly. We're all in the same team. There's no need to thank me. By the way, Wuxia kid, how did you know that someone was attacking the defensive array? Big Beard suddenly asked. Lu Chen summoned the Dark Eye of the Gods. An eye floated beside Lu Chen's shoulder. Dark Eye of the Gods? No, it's the Dark Eye of the Gods. Damn, how did you get it? It's said that this thing is almost impossible to make. Although it was a magic treasure at the first heaven, the Dark Eye of the Gods was indeed very powerful. At the first heaven, the difficulty of making it could only be described as heaven-defying. About that, nameless brother, we attacked you before. We're really sorry, Qinghe said, embarrassed. It's okay. Your reaction was normal. It's understandable. Pulling Mountain and the others only found out later that Lu Chen had saved everyone. Speaking of which, Lu Chen had not only saved the ranged players, he had saved the entire team. He patted Lu Chen's shoulder and nodded approvingly. Nameless brother, I won't say thanks. In short, well done. Cutthroat laughed and said, I really didn't expect that we would be able to survive this time. It's all thanks to a newbie. Although Nameless brother's damage wasn't very high, he was able to remain calm in the face of danger. This is already much better than most of the hotheads, who have just arrived at the third heaven. We really picked up a treasure this time. You might not believe it, but I personally saw Nameless brother kick Chasing Cloud's butt. Desperate Life also touched the pot that did not boil. What? For real? When Cutthroat heard this, he immediately realized that this was a hot topic. You dare to kick Chasing Cloud's butt? Brat, not bad. Chasing Cloud's face darkened. The handsome and cold him had actually been sent flying with a kick. After holding it in for a long time, Chasing Cloud finally said, Cough cough, no one is allowed to speak of this matter. Otherwise I'll kill him. Ha ha ha, when I think of Chasing Cloud getting kicked in the butt, I can't help but want to laugh. Sigh. I was only focused on fighting monsters at that time. I actually missed such a rare scene. What a pity. Ice Bear also joined in the fun. Hey, that's enough. And you, Nameless, if you dare to kick again. If you dare to do this again, I'll poke you into a sieve. The originally depressing atmosphere of escaping suddenly became better as they chatted. Lu Chen suddenly liked this feeling a little. A group of people were escaping, but they could still joke around and enjoy themselves. These people were actually very strong. As someone who had never had a true teammate before, it was not easy for him to experience team life. It was late at night, and everyone needed to rest. Everyone was already very tired, so the most energetic newcomer, Lu Chun, was the one keeping watch. Coming out of the cave alone, Lu Chun looked at the pitch-black forest in front of him in a daze. Was this the third level of heaven? What the fuck? They were forced to sleep in the wilderness on their first day, in the third level of heaven. Now that they were in the territory of the human race, they needed to rush to the next human race stronghold. If a 10,000th of the human race's territory was already so big, then how terrifying was the map of the third level of heaven? This had already exceeded the concept of a game map. It seems a little difficult to walk out of the third level of heaven. Lu Chun sighed. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.